finale. My name's Xander Clements. Alongside me in the booth here today is Riley Can. And as we get set to bring the action, the Micro Swift division, the first one out on the racetrack at the top of the order, will kick off heat number 2. And a quick recap, of course, last night under the lights ended in some fireworks in that KA Senior Heat race.
Oh my goodness, yeah. We had so many good races last night. The sparks were definitely flying. I'm so excited to see what we got planned for today.
We should have a really, really good day of racing here. We're going to be running into the nighttime, but the afternoon will play host to the second and final round of heat races. Aston Wyatt and the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy. Beryl Art was dominant in the opening heat race of the weekend under the lights for heat number 1. Pulled out a nearly 4.5-second margin over the field. Emerson Lane was second best. He was also by himself in kind of the second league, really. A couple seconds up the road from the fight for third, but again, multiple seconds back from the pole sitter. So Wyatt on track for a perfect weekend. He's got them nice and slow as they come around the final turn with Liam Nachawati, Pasha Ali on row number 2, Cade Casper, Colton Schneegenberg, row 3, Alex Chandler, Pato Medina, Paxton Dyson, Aloy Steinbrunner, your top 10 in the 16 driver Micro Swift field. They're on the power in the start box, and it is a lagging start there for third in the form of, I believe, falling all the way down to quite a few spots. Liam Nachawati, he was 6th across the line, but a great start for Aston Wyatt as he'll take them down the back straightaway for the very first time.
Yeah, exactly what happened last night with Aston Wyatt, just taking off, and hopefully we can see if he's going to be able to pull away once again.
So Pasha Ali knocking on the rear bumper of Emerson Lane. Little bit of contact maybe, battling for 4th right behind them of Liam Nachawati and Colton Schneegenberg as they go side by side. Schneegenberg on the inside there to hang on to just 5th as Nachawati hangs on, and he's still fighting as well with what I believe to be Alex Chandler and Paxton Dyson all in that grouping. It's allowing the top 3 to get away as they are 2 by 2 back for 4th. The leaders with a healthy little margin. Here's a look at them. So you can see great start for Alex Chandler. He'll pick up a spot. And biggest loser there, Pato Medina slots back in line, and Colton Schneegenberg as well, falling back a number of spots. As down the front stretch we go for the first time. 1 lap complete. Aston Wyatt leads your field down through the S's.
Yeah. Alex Chandler made a great run last night, moving up a few spots. Looking like he can continue at it as well through this race.
Yeah, we saw a handful of shuffling through the mid-pack. Obviously, the top of the field was pretty stagnant, but you had guys like Alex Chandler coming through the field late in the going. Colton Schneegenberg got going late as well. Paxton Dyson had a super start and then just kind of got shuffled back a little bit. Pasha Ali got shuffled yesterday as well. He's looking a lot stronger here on Saturday afternoon as he is hunting the rear bumper of Emerson Lane. So this group here, 4th on back, led by Liam Nachawati, headed into the turn 10 and 11 complex. And there's your leaders right there. Ali trailing Emerson Lane while Aston Wyatt leads. And there's a pass back for 4th. That was, I believe, Chandler getting by. Alex Chandler on the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony card up another spot. He's brought Paxton Dyson with him, and Liam Nachawati. Whoa, major contact there as it looked like Cade Casper got knocked up on the rear bumper of Nachawati, and they're both going to lose big time in the process.
Big unplanned pass there. Yeah, I think he just came out of nowhere. Definitely did not expect to be sending it down the inside.
Not at all, but again, a good recovery there for both drivers. They lost a little bit of time. Look at this move by Pato Medina, trying to get down the inside of Nachawati. He can't get the job done, but we talked last night about Pato Medina, how good his racecraft was. He was not afraid to send it anywhere. And here comes a send from Nachawati, back on Casper to at least regain some ground into turn number 6. He'll go a little wide and unfortunately get crossed up, and so Casper holds the position.
Yeah, just like you were saying, I mean, last night was a common theme of that switchback in that 6 to 7 complex. You know, they like to throw it back down to the inside and want to keep their positions.
And that's exactly what we just saw once again. Casper and Nachawati back and forth. Cade Casper holds it. A little bit of pushing and shoving through turn number 11, but all good and all clean so far on this lap for them. Now let's see if they can get to the final sector. Here they go into the last couple of hairpins. Single file, little bump from Colton Schneegenberg. He runs a little wide, opens the door for Pato Medina to get down the inside, and he gets through. Give that spot to Medina. Move him up to the 8th position after falling back on the start just a little ways. He's picked up a couple of positions. We've got this group here. Again, this is just outside the top 5, 6, back to 9th. Ahead of them, Paxton Dyson running right with Alex Chandler there, 4th and 5th. They're trying to hunt down Pasha Ali, who is starting to lose a little bit of touch to the leaders as Emerson Lane is catching up to the next group. And then again, just in back from them, Medina. Late move on the inside there on Nachawati, but he gets through, it looks like, for 6th.
Yeah, great move right there by Medina.
So that'll take our attention back over to Paxton Dyson and Alex Chandler as they go through turn number 11. Single file for the duo. They'll head out over through 12 and head for 13, 14, and 15 to go and put 4 laps complete this time by. And they've been working together again pretty nicely. Last time by, they were even to the race leader of Aston Wyatt. Let's see what the lap times look like across the stripe. They were a little quicker the lap before than Pasha Ali. They will go even faster. The 2 fastest drivers on the racetrack are the 2 hooked up right now, Paxton Dyson and Alex Chandler, charging up the grid. They are already within striking distance of Pasha Ali. They'll get a little bit of draft off the number 42 Parolin down the back straightaway, 4th and 5th. And then here's that next group. Cade Casper's gotten away. Pato Medina's gotten a little bit away as well.
Yeah, I mean, Dyson and Alex Chandler, they were working really well together like yesterday, trying to move back the field. Hopefully that Pasha Ali with that great start will be able to hold on to third.
He's going to have a lot of pressure coming. Ali runs a little wide there out of turn number 8, over to 9, and here comes Alex Chandler. Big run into 11, looking inside for third. He'll get the job done, and Dyson, nice move, kind of opening up the entry to the corner to take advantage on the exit. They both get by Pasha Ali. They're 3rd and 4th now for this duo, the fastest duo on the racetrack. Alex Chandler and Paxton Dyson will round the final turn, and about 2 seconds up the road to get to the leaders of Aston Wyatt and Emerson Lane.
Yeah, they're looking real fast right now. I mean, it looks like they can make it lead up to Emerson Lane, and hopefully they'll be able to catch up to the leader. We will see.
They only lost about 3/10 with the pass that time on Pasha. They were at best about a 1/10 of a second better per lap. So they're about 3 seconds back from the lead, 2.5 back from Emerson Lane. They'll need a little more pace than that to get there. We're already approaching really right around the halfway marker for this session. 7.5 minutes in so far. 4.5 to go, plus 2 laps once they hit that 12-minute marker here at the end of heat number 2. And this is all, again, a points aggregate, Riley. You got to be smart. You got to make up as many spots as you can in both heat races, but it's not worth fighting for one specific position forward or back because it's not your exact grid spot. You're going to line out based off how you finish in both.
Yeah, I mean, you just got your goal is just to get the best position you can and not make any stupid mistakes. I mean, you have to make it to the end if you want to, take a step on the podium or do well in the race. You got to make it to that final and have a great best spot possible.
And at least the good part with the aggregate points, right? You're not seeing guys fight to give up second and finish third like you do at some races and pre-finals on a track like here at SpeedSportz where the outside lane's not too helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad here starting on the outside to the inside. It's just all a matter of who is ahead of you and how you jump off the line.
Yeah, we've seen multiple drivers on both lanes either have great starts or not so great starts, depending on how their group went and how they got through the opening couple corners, because it fans out. We saw 2 and 3 abreast in a number of the bigger classes through the opening couple corners. However, it's a little bit tame so far in the micro swift class. Everybody keeping it relatively clean, and that was exactly what we saw in Heat 1 yesterday. So a great start to the afternoon of racing right now for them, and we keep our cameras glued here on this duo. We'll give you an update on where the times are. Last time by, 4/10 better for Alex Chandler and Paxton Dyson to the 2 race leaders. How much more time can they gain here? The Iron Rock Tony kart, and then right behind Paxton Dyson aboard that kart Republic, pushing him down the front stretch.
Yeah, it looks like they made up a little bit of time that last lap. Let's see what the timing says.
Half a second knocked off that time. Very nicely, or at least 4.5 tenths. And again, Emerson Lane, he's not hooked up directly to Aston Wyatt. He's a little bit further back, so they'll get draft off lane before they fully get there. You can see the thumbs up going to Alex Chandler, back to Paxton Dyson saying, good job. We're making headway. Keep it up. Keep up the good work pushing me forward, and we'll both get there. And at this rate, they'll arrive right with about the 2 to go signal, maybe with a lap to go, depending on how quickly that gap accelerates once they get into the drafting window. They're 1.7 seconds back for Emerson Lane. That gap needs to get down to about 8 or 9 tenths of a second to start getting some benefit down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully these guys start working together, keep every more, and hopefully nothing crazy happens.
Yeah, and at least nothing crazy for them, of course. They'd be more than happy to see some craziness go on for the lead. Emerson Lane trying to hunt down Aston Wyatt. He's kind of rubber banded with him. He's gotten a little bit closer, faded a little bit further away as the session has gone on. That time by picked up a little bit, closed a 1/10 of a second. So the top 2 drivers, as we see 3rd and 4th closing up to him. Here comes that good run down the long back straightaway. Aston Wyatt, Emerson Lane, 3 to 4 car lengths apart as they head down to turn number 6. It'll close up when they get down to the hairpin, especially with Lane sending it in deep, he hugs the bottom, closes up to a car length away.
He loves using those brakes. I mean, it looks like he has the speed. It just isn't able to close up all the way to get that bump drafting going.
It'll be interesting to see with our camera focused on the leaders where Aston Wyatt seems to be a little bit stronger than Emerson Lane. From what I can tell, it might be more so on the run out of the final corner and through the first sector of the racetrack because, again, Emerson Lane looking pretty even with him here in the back stuff all the way to the last turn. Where will they stack up here? And last time by, only a second and a half back to Alex Chandler and Paxton Dyson. Emerson Lane took a look back over his shoulder. He knows they're on the way. This time by, we've got 3 laps to go here as we're at 11 minutes and some change elapsed so far. It's going to be a 4-driver battle here before we know it, Riley.
Oh, yeah. Dyson and Chandler are hauling right now. They're definitely moving up, and it's going to be really interesting once they get backing up in that pack.
Here's a look down the backstretch. Paxton Dyson, Alex Chandler, they're getting some drafting help off the leaders. What does Emerson Lane do? For now, he'll push Aston Wyatt, try to give them a little more of a gap, not open it up just yet. But if he doesn't pass Wyatt, he will be getting past here sooner rather than later. 2.5 laps to go. 4 drivers coming together for the lead over to turn number 11.
Yeah, just exactly what Chandler wanted last night. He didn't really get the opportunity to keep moving up spots, but now look at him. He's exactly where he wants to be.
And again, all this heat points here. A good finish for Alex Chandler could put him up onto the front row for the main event later tonight. Look at this late move. Little tap as he went by, and Dyson follows. Up to second and third. Paxton Dyson and Alex Chandler. 2 to go here at the line as they head towards turn number 1.
Yeah, they got plenty of time to catch up to Aston Wyatt up in front. Looks like it's going to get a little racy here towards the end.
This is kind of what we expected. Obviously, some drivers find a little more speed and jump up the order as the weekend progresses, but we're on under the Texas sun right now, the hot Houston sun with highs of lower 90s. Major difference in the track conditions than what we saw last night at around 8:30, 9 p.m. when these kids actually got on the racetrack for their first heat race. So here at 3:30 in the afternoon local time, completely different circuit and a few different faces at the front. A lap and a half to go. They've already locked it down to a car length away from Aston Wyatt, still with a big head of steam. To turn number 11, does he have enough confidence to go here? He'll wait. Bumper to him. Wyatt will hold the spot for now.
Oh, my goodness. It's getting a little spicy now. I don't think Wyatt expected this little bit of racing after last night. He just got to walk away last night, but now he's passed for the lead. There goes Chandler.
Drug the brake with it to make sure he didn't get crossed up. Paxton Dyson trying to go to the inside. He does get crossed up, though. Aston Wyatt gets back to the inside. Here comes Emerson Lane back into the mix. Side by side with Dyson to turn 2. Dyson will hold it through to 3. Final lap, and we've got a 4-driver breakaway in Micro Swift.
Ooh, a little bit of a slide going through 3 and 4 from Dyson. He looks like he's going to have a good run down the straightaway. Hopefully he doesn't get past.
Let's see. Aston Wyatt covers low. Not low enough. Alex Chandler finds the hole again to the inside in 6. Dyson can't follow just yet. Into 7. Chandler goes to the middle of the racetrack to defend. Aston Wyatt looking low to 8. Not enough. Single file in the number 26. Iron Rock Tony Kart leads them with half a lap to go.
Let's see what Dyson can do going down here into turn 10. Let's see if he can get late on the brakes. Ooh, just a bit of defending there.
Gets the move done on him. He had Dyson shoving him through, and they get by on Alex Chandler. He'll drop all the way back to 4th. Final corner. Can Paxton Dyson make a move? Looks low. Little bumper. Moves him up the racetrack. Here they come on the run to the line. It'll be side by side. Dyson on the inside. Wyatt on the outside. Across the line. 1,000th of a second. Give it to Paxton Dyson.
Great racing by Dyson. He picked his moment, and he really knew what he needed to do.
My goodness. Paxton Dyson picks up 8 spots in the final heat race, and a little bump and run in that last turn. Just moves Wyatt just up a little bit, gets him up and out of the groove, gets alongside him, and wins the drag race of the checkered flag. Aston Wyatt ends 2nd. Alex Chandler 3rd. Emerson Lane 4th. Pasha Ali rounds the top 5. He holds off a hard-charging Pato Medina, who made a late race charge through that middle group, ends up in 6th. Cade Casper 7th. Aloy Steinbrunner in 8th. Kimo Abad 9th. Simon Klein 10th. Problems for Liam Nachawati and Colton Stiegenberg. Not sure what happened to them back at lap number 5. We were following that group. Right when we switched away is when the pair of them unfortunately ended up getting connected, and I think they must have crashed out together on the same lap because both were right near each other at the start of the 5th circuit around. So Liam Nachawati, Colton Stiegenberg, not the ideal result for them. They'll go to the tail of the field for the results here in heat number 2. but a great result for Paxton Dyson, and still a good one for Alex Chandler. I mean, that's 2 third-place finishes, I believe. That'll be a nice and easy starting spot for the main event later on this evening. They'll get back under the lights with night racing kicking off around 7 p.m. local time. And we're looking forward to seeing that as the Houston Freightliner Western Star Micro Swifts are now done for the afternoon. There'll be a nice little dinner break, and then it'll be night racing here for them. Helix Electric Honda Kit Kart. You can see the young guns on the grid, ages 5 to 8 years old. They've got the engines about fired up. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, the second group for heat number 2 of 9 is headed your way.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back here to the SpeedSportz Racing Park in Houston, and the Helix Electric Honda Kit Karts getting stopped to make sure they are properly formed up for their second heat race. 12 laps the distance, and Riley and I were talking just during that commercial break there. Arguably one of the best races we had all night last night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just Dukes were out. I mean, everybody was switching back and forth between Mitchell, Stoffel, Westbrook, and Anastasio. It was so entertaining last night. Not what you really expected from these kit car guys.
Well, I think the motor's done a really good job. The Honda GX50 engine has been in use for a number of years in the Texas Sprint Racing Series over in California, and a handful of pockets around the country as a good alternate, and really what I think is probably the leading kid kart engine out there, because while it's a lower horsepower motor, it's not necessarily where you're bouncing off a rev limit or anywhere. So the momentum game was big last night. Again, these kids are pretty much full throttle for the majority of the racetrack here at the large SpeedSportz Racing Park in North Houston. But as they come into the start lines, and we'll go green here on the first time by. Good start for Brody Stoffel on the outside. Theodore Mitchell on the inside of one. We'll go side by side. There goes Dutch Westbrook again. Oof. Great move, just like he did last night. Dives down to the bottom, finds a hole, gets himself up to second. But when they go low to defend, or when they kind of make passes, they break the momentum up a little bit. Or when they do that right there, where Dutch Westbrook pulls the inside down the back straightaway. He's trying to get a run on Brody. Here comes Theodore Mitchell to the outside. They'll go side by side. Dutch Westbrook's had a lot of late last-second moves. There he goes to the inside and to the
over-under.
Yeah, and right over here to turn number 7. We've seen some great passes there as well. They've just had a lot of, like you said, good overs and unders. Here's Brody Stoffel on the inside. Theodore Mitchell leaves the door open, and Andrew Anastasio gets by him. So all these kids having a great battle last night, and we were getting into it. We were having a blast, and they are ready to do it again here as Dutch Westbrook gets himself a nice little lead to turn number 11.
Yeah, Westbrook just loves that bottom line down the straightaway. I mean, might not be the best for the tires. It's quite dusty and dirty down there, but he's making it work. You love to see it.
Yeah, when he gets low again, it was the one thing that kind of hurt him a little bit last night was when he'd go low before he get the full draft. And I think that was the one thing, if you look for the broadcast, that he could learn to work on. And the rest of the kids just trying to make sure that when they get past Dutch at the next corner, they cover off the inside, which they did adjust mid-race a couple times, because if Dutch Westbrook was getting past, he was going to answer right back as quick as he could. So good stuff for him. They'll all close up a little bit with the draft, kind of playing into effect just a touch, kind of packs them up. And we knew they were going to all be close together. Qualifying had all the kids in the top 4 within about 2.5 tenths of a second. One of the tighter kit kart fields that you will see. Normally the range of experience and ability at their age is massive. It's normally spread out around the racetrack. Not the case here this weekend at the season finale.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys come here very often, and the laps they put in definitely show. I mean, the pairing here is very even and making the great racing.
And they've all, again, run pretty much the entire Texas Sprint Racing Series season, so they've had plenty of time to race around each other, practice their moves, try things out, learn from one another. And now as they're going to pack up again, headed over to turn number 11, it'll get a little bit tight. Dutch Westbrook got away in that first lap as Andrew Anastasio gets a little wide. But, man, again, the momentum game there. He goes wide, keeps the motor wound up a little better, and he's going to get a big run. It's almost like dirt track racing we're seeing right there in some of these hairpin corners.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's all about momentum here. I mean, you just got to keep it going, keep the RPMs high, and they're doing a good job of that. You can tell by going on that outside line, just keeping the revs up and creating great exits.
Yeah, and a lot of it, again, what we're talking is probably unintentional by the drivers. Little mistake, and it just ends up working out for the better. But here they go over to turns 1, 2, and 3. Dutch Westbrook has them all lined up on his bumper. Let's see if anyone tries to pass into turn 4. No, not this time. A little low that time for Brody Stoffel. But Brody's going to get a big head of steam down this back straightaway. Look at this awesome side shot of the draft that he'll get. He'll close up to the bumper with the draft. Right behind, 1 car length away. They're side by side behind him as well for third. There's Theodore Mitchell getting a spot back. He gets through on Andrew Anastasio.
Yeah, I think Theodore Mitchell's got a little bit of room to make up. I mean, he started on the pole. He's got the big man award going, so he's got to prove himself here.
And there he goes, tucking his head up behind the wheel. Andrew Anastasio trying to follow him. He did set the fastest lap, closing up to the leaders last time, 4th in line. Now up to 3rd. Good run through the little switchback hairpins for Dutch Westbrook, though, as he's gotten himself some breathing room. Big run there through the hairpin for Theodore Mitchell, so he got a good exit out of turn 11. Loses a little bit of time, but he did close up quite a bit to Brody Stoffel that time as they go to the final corner. They'll come around this time by 4 minutes in, 8 minutes to go, so a third of the way into their heat race, and they're still all packed up here for the lead. Dutch Westbrook leads them down the front straightaway.
Ooh, it's getting tight now down the straightaway. It looks like Dutch Westbrook didn't really have the best last turn he could have, but now it's all packed up again.
Yeah, Brody Stoffel was under fire from Theodore Mitchell. Now Stoffel got the run up to him. And look at this, Mitchell going high, looking to go low on him. They're going to close up again down the backstretch Let's see if there's any bump drafting or if Theodore's just going to go and try and make a pass for second. He's got the run on him. Behind him, Andrew Anastasio's looking for third. I think Theodore let off a little bit into turn 6. Nobody's ducking out just yet.
Well, you know that it's cool to see that Dutch Westbrook is out front now, but I kind of want to see him behind somebody. He's been so good with those late passes down at the end of the straightaway, so I want to see some more of that.
Look at the outside run for Theodore Mitchell. He works the outside on little Brody Stoffel, gets himself up to second. That'll give Dutch Westbrook a big lead as they go to turn number 11. And now we'll see if they can run him back down because he's now probably about a second up the road. So a little bit of work to be done on the second half of this heat race as they come to put 5 minutes elapsed.
Oh, yeah, man, there's plenty of time left. I'm sure that Theodore Mitchell, he's got the speed to catch up back up to Westbrook, and it should be bringing a little bit of a challenge towards the end of the race.
Yeah, let's see what he can do. Can Brody Stoffel get back going? Can little Andrew Anastasio get a run? They've got a run on Theodore Mitchell. Here they go side by side. Pump drafting a bit to help him. And Stoffel gets himself back up to second.
Now, it's great for Westbrook, but not good for everybody else, really. They need to start working together, and so hopefully they can catch the leaders.
Yeah, they need to make sure they push a little bit down the backstretch because they won't get a big slipstream effect off the rear bumper of Dutch Westbrook. You can see the margin he's got. Across the line was 9/10 of a second. Theodore Mitchell seemed a little bit kind of timid, didn't really want to push Brody Stoffel too much, and Andrew Anastasio says, thank you very much. I'll take that spot away for third in turn number 6.
A little bit of defending going on in turn 7 by Stoffel. He did not want to get passed back again.
So he hangs on. Andrew Anastasio gets back up into third. Theodore Mitchell back to the 4th spot, and all the while Dutch Westbrook holding the lead. So Theodore Mitchell, it looked like I think him and Brody Stoffel would have made up some ground, but he seemed a little bit scared to put the bumper to Brody Stoffel and push him down the straightaway. He seemed to be letting off the gas once he got to him, and that's what allowed Andrew Anastasio to get down the inside. All a big learning experience for all these Helix electric Honda Kid Carters.
Oh, for sure. I think it's commonly underestimated how much these kids learn when driving with each other. I mean, when they're practicing, they're just driving by themselves, but when you're able to drive behind somebody and really figure out how to drive properly and things that you can do better.
So here they are. Now Theodore Mitchell gives a little push to Andrew Anastasio. And again, like you said, Dutch Westbrook has not been getting the greatest exits out of that last turn. But instead of pushing each other, the kids get a big run and they get amped up and they pass each other down in turn number 1. And it kind of keeps that margin for Dutch safe out front. Although here goes Brody Stoffel back on Andrew Anastasio for second into turn 6. Theodore Mitchell gives a little push to Anastasio, and he keeps the pedal matted around the outside and holds on to second.
Great move there. You don't really see many moves going around the outside of that corner. Lots and lots of marbles out there.
Yeah, well, he hangs on. Now Theodore Mitchell overs and unders his way up into third ahead of Brody Stoffel. As they exit turn number 9, they go for turn 10. Single file for second, third, and fourth. And still up the road, Dutch Westbrook not getting away. Not exactly getting closer either. 7.5 tenths out last time, so they made up some ground. I think they lost some this lap. We'll see as we come to hit about 8 minutes down, 4 minutes to go, plus 2 laps in this Helix Electric Honda Kid Kart second heat race.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Westbrook doesn't really have that pull-away speed, but, the whole group behind him are just battling and just giving him way more of a gap to work with.
Let's see if Andrew Anastasio pushes Theodore Mitchell. Mitchell got by him out of the last turn. No, he's going to look to the outside in turn 1. Now he'll tuck back in line. Teddy Mitchell hangs on to second, but down the backstretch, I'm sure they'll get a big run on him and pass him again, and that'll keep giving Dutch Westbrook a bigger lead. He got a half second up on him last time by, so now a 1.5 seconds out front for Dutch Westbrook. Down the backstretch, Andrew Anastasio, he's going to push him. He'll work with Teddy Mitchell this time. He pushes him, maybe trying to learn a little bit from some of the bigger kids that were working together. We saw a great example of teamwork last race in Paxton Dyson, Alex Chandler. They were at 1.4 seconds back from the leaders. They kept their heads down, worked together, pushed, and closed the gap all the way to the point that they were battling for the lead in the final 2 laps. So maybe if the kids can really work hard, there's a chance they could get back to Dutch here before this one's all said and done.
Oh, for sure. It's just a learning experience for them. They'll learn it over time. It's just, they have a little bit of a lack of experience, and they'll get this sooner or later.
Yeah, maybe sooner here now, maybe later in the main event, maybe into next season as the Kid Kart class. Great ladder program to move up into the Micro Swift and 206 cadet divisions that we'll see many of these kids, I hope, on the Texas Sprint Racing Series schedule for many years to come as we go down the front straightaway. 9 minutes complete. Let's see the lap times here. Dutch Westbrook, man, was he flying last lap. A 17 flat That is almost as quick as the lap set earlier in the race by Teddy Mitchell. Another 6/10 added onto the margin as Andrew Anastasio goes back into second.
Yeah, I mean, it's just working all in Westbrook's favor right now. He doesn't really have to do much other than just keep it on the track. These guys are just going to keep battling and battling and not really going to catch that leader.
Yeah, and there they go, side by side. Look at this. We're about to be 3 wide here, Riley. Oh, Brody Stoffel thought about it. He decided to back up and stay back in the 4th spot as Teddy Mitchell moves up to 2nd once again.
Yeah, we're missing some of these late moves. I know it looks like Anastasio had a great opportunity to make a pass, but just stayed behind.
Yeah, ultimately no change there. They're working their way through turns 8 and 9. Coming up next here in Houston for the SpeedSportz Racing Park's 2nd stop hosting the Texas Sprint Racing Series is the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swift Division. Go back to their opening heat race on the weekend. Gage Bailey was dominant. He had a great run to be able to pull away from the field. Tyler Roberts started from the tail, worked his way up the grid, a little bit of a slow start, but he eventually got to 2nd, ran out of time to try and hunt down the leader, but Bailey was in a league of his own. He was 3/10 clear of the field, so we could see similar of a picture to what we're seeing right now with one driver far out and a battle back for 2nd onwards as down the start-finish line straight we go once again. Almost side by side. Andrew Anastasio can't quite get there on Teddy Mitchell.
So tight through there. These guys are just, the variance in lines here are crazy. I mean, you can go one way or the other way, and they're still going the same times and staying all together. It's cool to see.
Here we go down the backstretch. Theodore Mitchell trying to hunch forward a little bit, hop in the seat to get some more speed, but it's going to be to no avail. Big run for Andrew Anastasio, and he gets back into 2nd. And Dutch Westbrook again laying down some heaters. A 17-1 last time by. Another 2.5 up on the 2nd group that's battling again to turn 8. Down the inside and across, and over we go.
And do that double right-hander. It's long, long exit. And it feels like forever before you get to that next hairpin.
Theodore Mitchell on the outside of Andrew Anastasio, and he just ends up dropping a wheel as they make contact. And look at that, our cameraman, Rocco Ruslick, trying to help out here, see if we can get him pushed back on the racetrack. The leaders now are all shaken up as, unfortunately for Theodore Mitchell, he gets knocked off to the side over there, and around he goes.
Now let's see what Anastasio can do now. I mean, it's just a mano-a-mano fight for that P2 spot.
Heads up for Rocco Ruslick to go and check out on the kid. Ultimately, the TSRS officials, they will get him back onto the racetrack, I believe, and just make sure to let him know to be careful. Oh, the chain's off. That's what the issue is. He went over to check it out. The chain got knocked off on the bounce through the grass. So Theodore Mitchell's 2nd heat race looks like he was ready to go, but the chain got knocked off, so he's out. Moves Raphael Lee up into 4th, and this battle for 2nd was 3, now down to 2 as Brody Stoffel goes by on the inside.
Yeah, another great move. It's going to be back and forth this whole race. I'm sure of it.
Heartbreaker again for Theodore Mitchell with the chain getting knocked off. Such a good battle here for these young kids. I mean, they were going back and forth this entire 2nd heat race there for the lead initially, and then back for 2nd.
Yeah, picking up just where they left off from last night. But luckily for Theodore Mitchell, there's only 5 karts in this class, so he should have no problem getting back to that lead pack.
Absolutely not, as the field exits turn number 11, goes through turn number 12. We've already hit the 12-minute time marker, so this time by, we'll get the 2 to go signal. 2 laps to go for the race leader, Dutch Westbrook, about 5.5 seconds up from this battle for 2nd between Brody Stoffel and Andrew Anastasio. Anastasio back in 3rd, Stoffel in front in the red number 9. And down the front stretch, they'll go side by side again over to turns 1 and 2. Here's Anastasio. He'll lose enough momentum and just gets the door shut.
They're just zigzagging back and forth through there. It's so crazy looking at how wide they go or how narrow they can go through there and still keep bumper to bumper.
And credit to these kids, too. We joke about fatigue being a factor, and it is a factor racing the cars to the high level and the higher speed classes like your K, X30 shifter division, especially for those masters classes, the older gentlemen and gentlewomen. But it's hot out. It's a lot to ask of these 5 to 8-year-olds to be willing to go-kart for 14 minutes straight in this heat race.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is hot out here, and it is not fun having to do like a nice 20-lap race in the 100-degree heat, especially with all the humidity that we have down here in Houston. It's tough.
So some good conditioning here for the young kids. They head over to turn number 11. Stoffel still holds the position, about 2 car lengths up on Andrew Anastasio. To give you an update on Dutch Westbrook, he's obviously out of frame. He's more than 8 seconds up the road from these two, so he'll be entering the front stretch right as they kind of head for the final corner. headed into turn number 13 now with the white flag looming. It'll go into the air when they get up to the start-finish line straight away. Fight for second and a dominant run here in the second half of the second heat race for Dutch Westbrook that'll lock him into the pole position for tomorrow or for tonight's main events later on under the lights.
Yeah, that's exactly how Westbrook wanted this race to go. He got out early and just stayed out of all the fighting behind him and capitalized on that, laid down his laps, and look at where he is now.
And again, just unfortunate for Theodore Mitchell. Great little battle, hard racing incident between himself and Brody Stoffel, Andrew Anastasio, all going at it with his chain getting knocked off as he bounced through the grass and dirt on the side of the racetrack. The field heads into turn number 6 for the very final time. And we'll see no change in position there from Andrew Anastasio up to Brody Stoffel. They seem relatively spaced out enough that it should hold through to the end, through to turn number 8. Meanwhile, your race leader just up the road, again, nearly 10 seconds out now for Dutch Westbrook. He was a 2 6/10 better than everybody else on the racetrack last time by, and so no more of a deserving heat race winner coming your way than the number 33 of Dutch Westbrook. He'll round the final turn this time by, come out of turn number 15, that little bend onto the straightaway, and take the checkered flag. Dutch Westbrook will win heat number 2 here for the Helix Electric Honda Kid Karts. And then you go back, there's second and third coming across the line here. Brody Stoffel, Andrew Anastasio. Raphael Lee will be scored in the 4th spot. He's a little bit further back on the racetrack than the top 4, a little less experience for little Rafi in the number 42. His older brother Pasha obviously has moved up this year into the micro Swift division. We just saw him the session prior, running inside the top 5 for a good portion. And here comes little brother Rafi out of the final turn. He'll be scored in the 4th spot. And Theodore Mitchell, like you said, not a big grid. Shouldn't be too hard to get back forward. He's had some good starts today to get himself back up after losing the lead early in the early parts of the races. So no worries there for Theodore in the number 20 to make up some more ground. But another commercial break coming your way, folks. 2 heat races down, 7 more still to go. We come back, we'll highlight some of the KA Senior Championship point standings coming into this weekend and a few other big notables as the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swifts get set to hit the racetrack.
Line has steadily made progress since its inception in October 2021. On top of servicing the Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana areas with products from Compkart chassis, Tillotson carts and engines, Miami, Briggs, Honda, and more, they're now promoting race events as well throughout the mid and coastal South region at NOLA Motorsports Park and Finish Line Performance Karting in Biloxi, Mississippi. Races are already set for the fall of 2022. September 3rd, October 22nd, and November 12th at NOLA Motorsports Park, and 2 dates, September 10th and October 15th at Finish Line Performance Karting. Driver Line is set to finish this year strong.
The 2023 season is just around the corner, and if you're looking to buy, sell, connect, or learn, make plans to attend the 37th Annual OVK Go-Kart Swap Meet, February 4th, 2023. Register online at ovka.com.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com. Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels. From club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
Welcome back here to SpeedSportz Racing Park in Houston and for the Texas Sprint Racing Series finale at the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy. Mini Swifts getting set to go green. Again, the story for this class, Tyler Roberts entered the weekend second in points, trailing from Gage Bailey, and had to miss out on the qualifying session last night. Got in for the first heat race, drove from the back of the field through to second. He starts from the rear again for heat 2. Just looking for a good starting spot for the main to maybe be the one to mount a challenge to the 169 of Gage Bailey. As look at that great start off the line. I believe that was Derek Wargo getting a nice jump into turn number 1 and 2.
Exactly how Derek Wargo would have wanted to start the race. Let's see if Tyler Roberts can make up that recovery like we were talking about. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So Roberts already working the rear as a great start for David Ibarra, and everybody was really quick to freight train Gage Bailey. Here's Bailey trying to make one spot back, working the inside of, I believe, Pato Cadena or Emil Hernandez Marin, and he gets through, and they're going to go side by side. He got Ibarra as well, so David Ibarra back behind Gage Bailey already drops to third aboard that Arcane Motorsports CRG. They'll rock it into turns 10 and 11. Bailey with about 5 car lengths back, and they're going to probably go side by side. Here's Tyrone Kemper.
Oh, big send.
Then down the inside there, and he got
no.
the end of the corner.
Oh, dirties the tires up, but a great move by him. I don't know if he expected to take those 2 spots, but it didn't really work out too well for him on the exit there.
And look at Tyler Roberts getting his elbows out. He'll pick up another spot there at the back of the grid to move himself up third from the rear now. Moves into the top 5, I believe, for Tyler Roberts. Indeed. So Tyler Roberts up another spot as he gets by Pato Cadena. Then it's Juan Jose Paramo, then Tyrone Kemper Jr. as the field rounds turn number 5. And already, Gage Bailey and Derek Wargo have checked out thanks to all the shenanigans going on for P3.
Yeah, just about what happened last night, with Derek Wargo and Gage Bailey working together and taking off.
Ooh, little contact between David Ibarra and Emil Hernandez Marin, and Ibarra was not able to get by. Hernandez Marin holding the spot through 8. Goes a little bit low. Here comes Tyler Roberts lurking there behind them. He'll be able to make a charge on Ibarra in just a moment as Ibarra sends it on the inside of Marin. Hip checks him on the way by, gets through. Thank you very much, says Tyler Roberts. He'll get another spot, move the 199 up to 4th.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what Roberts was doing so well with last night, just capitalizing off of other people messing around on track, and look, he just did it again.
Now he gets up into third, so a little bit of a smaller gap. By the time he got to second last night, the margin was about 6 or 7 seconds. It's only 2 1/4 up to the leaders, and they're about to start battling as well.
Oh,
Derek Wargo has been hunted down and passed by Gage Bailey for the lead. Bailey leads by about 5 car lengths down the backstretch. Wargo not going to fall away just yet. He closes up down to 3 car lengths away through turn 6.
Yeah, Bailey's been super fast all weekend. I mean, hopefully Derek Wargo was able to stick to the rear end of him and maybe bring Tyler Roberts back up into the fight.
Ultimately, again, these are just really big test sessions, right? You get to practice a lot of different setup changes. You're not going to learn a whole lot air pressure-wise at the heat of the day here in the afternoon compared to the nighttime when we go green for the main events later on, but really getting to practice moves just like that as Emil Hernandez Marin and David Ibarra gets together. Oh, my goodness. David Ibarra goes around as they wheel hopped coming out of the corner, and he gets popped into the air and pirouettes. Hard hit there for David Ibarra. He looks to be okay as he's talking with the Texas Sprint Racing Series officials. We go back to the race lead, or at least where everybody else stacks up. Here's the back of the group now. Hernandez Marin falls back under heavy fire from Pato Cadena for that 5th position. Tyrone Kemper Jr., the big benefactor, he moves up into 4th. And Tyler Roberts, he was already up the road from this group, but I'm sure he's glad, or at least his family's glad he got away from that battle before it got nasty as the leaders there going through all of the big gap. There's Kemper Jr., and then here's this 3-car battle. Hernandez Marin, Paramo, and as well, Pato Cadena.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are they're battling super hard. I mean, they're going for that 4th, 5th, and 6th positions, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do into turn 11. They'll stay single file there, a little bit wide for Hernandez Marin as he drops the tire there. The right rear gets him sideways That'll allow Juan Jose Paramo to get through, and the ACI Mexico team driver gets through, and here comes a late move there. Oh my goodness, they are going at it all the way down the front straightaway. Big attempt from Pato Cadena, ultimately doesn't work out.
Yeah, a lot of love taps going through that turn 10 and turn, I think that's 13 hairpins. I mean, you see a lot of people getting hit in the bumpers there and dropping a wheel on the exit.
It's tricky. Obviously, the SpeedSportz Racing Park is a really nicely kept facility, right? When you kind of look for marks on a racetrack rally, you look for cracks, bumps, differences in paint and stuff like that. And this place is kept up relatively well. So the track surface is pretty smooth and flush all the way through. And because of that, not only is it tough to set individual braking markers for corners, but it's really tough to, guess where everybody else is going to brake. Even if you follow them lap after lap, you can't say, oh, this guy in front of me brakes right here when the paint just breaks out and it's yellow, because it all looks the same. And so you're trying to guess when they're going to brake, and everyone's kind of missing the mark a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, exactly like you were talking about last night. It's that accordion effect. You have to brake just a little bit earlier than the guy ahead of you, and especially with these young kids. I mean, these guys aren't the most consistent on the field, but, you just got to keep on your toes.
Well, let's talk about consistency at the front. It's been about the same the last few laps, but more importantly, Derek Wargo's found a little more pace overnight. That Kart Republic is closer to Gage Bailey than he's been in some time. Here he comes with a big run to the bumper. He'll push him down the way to turn number 6 and stay behind. So obviously he feels confident enough in his pace that he can push him and not worry about Bailey driving off into the sunset. And behind him, Tyler Roberts, not really getting too much help from them, staying single file because they have really been able to match his pace or pull away a little bit. Last time by Bailey, 4/10 better than Tyler Roberts.
It looks like Wargo's hit a little bit of a mid-race form here. I mean, he didn't really start off the race super fast, but he caught back up to Gage Bailey, and it looks like he's going to challenge for that win.
And we're right about that time here. This will be 6 laps in the books, so we're right around the halfway marker in this heat race for the mini slips presented by the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Down the front stretch for the 169 Team Bennick entry of Gage Bailey. He'll set his personal best. Derek Wargo will set the overall session best. 58.832 for the 178 machine.
Yeah, great drive so far for them.
Tyler Roberts, on the other hand, not getting the benefit of any drafting help. He's all in no man's land in third at a 59.3, about 4/10 off the pace of the top two. Last time by at the line, exactly 3 seconds away from the lead. So he's pulling away from Tyrone Kemper Jr. Won't have to worry about anyone coming from behind to get up to him. But at this point, without any major battling up front, which it doesn't look like we will see too much of, Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Tyler Roberts both at best will finish where they are. Gage Bailey and Derek Wargo working together nicely as they head for turn 13.
Yeah, I mean, well, the common thing we've been seeing like through this whole season, I mean, these young guys are working all so well together, and it's looking not too good for Tyler Roberts. I mean, if Derek Wargo and Gage Bailey are able to keep working together like they are and keep pulling away, that it's not good for Roberts.
No, not at all. I mean, at least, again, Tyler Roberts going to be set up to start in a much better position for the main event later on as they head down the back straightaway. 1 car length between them. Big run for Wargo. He'll push again and probably stay glued up with him till about the 2 to go signal, because unless you're really having a specific game plan in these races, for a lot of the kids, they just drive, and then the double sticks come out, and then you start battling.
Yeah, I mean, everybody always says, I was always told that, the last 2 laps are for the drivers. You could work the whole race with somebody, but once that 2 to go comes out, all bets are off. I mean, you're fighting for yourself at that point.
Here they go through turn number 11, out of the hairpin, over through 12 and into 13, 14, and 15. Not much else going on the racetrack either, as the field's kind of started to separate itself slightly again. You got your top 2 right here. Third on the racetrack, Tyler Roberts running by himself, is a little mistake from Derek Wargo. And that right there, Riley, that's the one risky run of being the second driver in the lane of 2, because if he drops a wheel and he's in front, Bailey knocks him in the back, and they keep on going. You drop a tire when you're the pusher, this happens. That gap you got to opens up, and you got to run it back down.
Yeah, I mean, you lose that safety net you have when you're in P2. I mean, you want to be the guy in front, just like you said. You want to get that little push from behind, because the guy behind you is going to keep working with you. But yeah, I mean, you lost that safety net, and look what it's done to him now.
Yeah. So when he makes a mistake, right, he loses. And when the leader makes a mistake in the group of 2, they both lose is the big thing. So now, again, for him, he's got work to do. Tyler Roberts in that number 199 Iron Rock Motorsports Parolin. Again, this weekend, starting from the rear, both heat races. Third yesterday, looking for another third result today. But with this mistake out of Derek Wargo, kind of opens up again. The gap is still pretty massive for him to get there to the 178. but he's got an outside shot if he can really put his head down, now knowing that the leaders are separated. And they are separated by a ton, over a second and a half back to the 178 of Derek Wargo.
Yeah, I mean, for Roberts, I mean, it just sucks for him because he's had to start in the back this whole time and wasted some extra laps that he could have needed to catch up to the leaders to, going through that field.
Really, the biggest thing you miss out is he's not getting the benefit of learning from those other drivers, seeing if his gearing is similar or not. You got to kind of be around the other drivers, similar speed to you to judge that kind of information. Set up if you're kind of struggling in certain corners, lower speed, higher speed than others. In his case, he's been drastically faster than the back of the field where he's had to make passes, so he's not really getting a good gauge of if he could be doing anything better behind the wheel, if they could be doing anything better on the go-kart to find a little bit more speed. He's going to go in a little bit blind to this main event because, again, you're just out by yourself or you're out with some of these slower drivers towards the back of the grid, so you're not getting a good read of where you stack up against the leaders besides what the stopwatch says. As we see another pass here back for the fifth spot, sorry. This is Juan Jose Paramo getting by Emil Hernandez-Marin. And right at the back of the group, Pato Cadena, they're 5th, 6th, and 7th as they head down the front straightaway.
And these guys have been going at it all weekend. You just love to see the back and forth racing on the track. I mean, it's great entertainment for us as commentators and for the fans as well. Maybe not too good for the parents. I know they're getting quite a few more gray hairs.
It definitely is stressful sitting on that side of the fence. For us up here, we're looking for all the entertainment we can get to bring to you here in the paddock. And for those of you tuning in live along back home as the leaders head down the back straightaway of this grouping, single file, no pass between any of them. A little bit narrow going into turn number 7 that time for Paramo, but Emil Hernandez-Marin stays tucked in behind. Now, does he return the favor in 11? That's where the pass was made last time by Juan Jose. Into the corner, too far back, I think, to make a dive, but we've seen drivers try it from further away than that, so you never want to say never as there's another mistake. Emil Hernandez-Marin, that's the second or third time he's kind of just dropped the wheel a little bit, the exit of that hairpin, got a little bit too far wide.
Yeah, it looks like that gap between Wargo and Roberts is closed up just a little bit. I mean, there could be a little bit of fight brewing here.
Yeah, out of nowhere here. Derek Wargo has at least chipped off a little bit. Last time by, he started to make some ground up lap time wise to Gage Bailey, so he was kind of roughly even to the pace, but he's still a good ways away on the racetrack up the road, so you're not missing too much walling from the leaders. You can again see 3 seconds back to Derek Wargo, another 3.5 back to Tyler Roberts. As ooh, look at that, side by side, Hernandez-Marin, Juan Jose Paramo. Here's Pato Cadena with a crossover. He'll go to the outside, 3 to turn 8. Oh, that'll get tight coming out, and Pato Cadena, the big winner.
A great move by Pato Cadena. It looks like he was just very opportunistic about that one. Picked his spot, and down in turn 10.
There goes Paramo. He gets by, gets crossed up. Cadena holds, and Pato Cadena gets into the top 5 with just a couple of laps to go. 3 to go at the line. Juan Jose Paramo going to try and run him wide at the exit of the corner.
Oh, drops a wheel.
And that'll kind of hurt him there. And that's just a lesson you really only got to learn sometimes once or twice. As soon as you get pushed off for hanging on the outside lane, you don't really ever do it again.
Yeah, I mean, a common thing you see from all these more or less inexperienced drivers, I mean, they like to hold around the outside, and that's not what you need to do, especially at that corner on this track. It's really detrimental.
It's easy to slip into kind of a short-term thinking of a potential long-term loss philosophy when you're racing on the racetrack, and that's why it's so impressive to see some of these kids put their egos aside, stay in second, and push like Derek Wargo was doing earlier, because you're thinking fight for every position, every corner, don't give anything up, but when you kind of fight too hard to not lose a spot, you're going to lose sometimes more than just that one position. In the case of, unfortunately, Pato Cadena, he lost 2 spots, and now he's outside of the drafting window, so he's way back from this battle for 5th, headed over to turn 13.
Yeah, I mean, especially with this racing format that they do here for the Sprint Series, I mean, you have to be there at the end, and that's the one goal for this. You have to make it for the final. You have to have a great spot. I mean, if you're not able to do that and play nice with each other just for that, it's going to be tough for you.
It will be tricky. 2 to go here for the leaders as they go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is 5th and 6th here. The leaders are already headed over through turns 8 and 9. Tyler Roberts been making some headway a little bit the last couple laps on Derek Wargo. Cut the gap down to less than 2 seconds. He'll be a little bit too far back to get there, which is why our cameras are focusing on this good fight for 5th. Juan Jose Paramo, Emil Hernandez-Marin trying to hang on and see who can win out on that final spot inside the top 5. They can battle as much as they want. I think they're well out ahead of Pato Cadena with a lap to go, that it'll just come down to the 2 of them for this spot on the racetrack as the white flag waves on the other side. 1 lap to go here for Gage Bailey in the 169 Team Bannock machine. He continues to lead the way. Last time by, another 2/10 added onto the margin back to Derek Wargo.
Yeah, it's tough luck for Pato Cadena. He's been driving so well through this race and even through the heat last night. It's just got the bad end, short end of the stick, man. It's just not good for him.
Yep, so he'll have to suffer that 7th place result. There's the white flag for this group. We'll keep our eyes on them as long as we can without going up to the leaders. They're about half the track behind at this point, 20 seconds away from the leaders that are headed already out of turn number 9, or I should say singular form of the term, leader, because again, Gage Bailey has been dominant. Here's a good run down the backstretch. Final opportunity, or one of the final ones for Hernandez Marin. Paramo blocks low, goes low into 6. Crossover move. What do we got here into turn number 8? I don't think he'll be close enough, and they'll stay single file in that good fight for 5th. Meanwhile, Gage Bailey out of the last turn. Clean, smooth to the finish. He wins Heat 2 and sweeps the heat races in Mini Swift. And then it'll go to Derek Wargo in 2nd. A hard-charging Tyler Roberts gets to the field. Another respectable finish there in 3rd. 4th will go to Tyrone Kemper Jr. There's that 2-car battle going to the last couple corners. Emil Hernandez Marin had a look at it. Couldn't fully get the job done. Juan Jose Paramo hangs on to that final spot in the top 5. Top of your screen there. Big dust cloud coming as it looked like Pato Cadena dropped the wheel in the last turn, but he ends up all right. Unfortunately, again, not the best result for him after having a good race fighting inside the top 5. Ends up down in 7th. And, of course, David Ibarra will have to get removed from the racetrack here after that rough ride for the CRG driver from the Arcane Motorsports camp. So the number 106 gets credited with 8th. And we move on to 206 seniors. Some major intel coming our way here for the 206 senior class presented by Cruise Racing Development. Of course, coming into the weekend, Braxton Trigg locked the championship up, decided to skip out on practice, save the wear and tear on the go-karts. He'll be set to contend for the win this weekend, and he's already halfway there. Heat 1 winner for the championship points leader, already clinching the series title. The rest of the field set to go. Sally Mott will lead your field off here later on when we come back.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun, sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com, and one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Welcome back here to SpeedSportz, and the Cruise Racing Development 206 seniors are ready to put on a show. They were 9 and 10 deep in the lead group at certain points, then kind of cycled on down. It is Sally Mott and Kelvin Ching on the front row, and just got some information for poor Kelvin Ching aboard that TV cart. Found a crack on the chassis here right as they were getting ready to go to the grid. That thing is held apart, or held together by seat struts, zip ties, and hopes and dreams right now to try and hang on. He starts on the outside of the front row.
Yeah, his chassis just might be a little soft for this race. Might be add that little bit more grip that he doesn't necessarily need on this hot, greasy track.
Not ideal for him whatsoever. You go back to row 2, Mikey Bolin, Braxton Trigg ready to go at it. Caden Wolf will make up the top 5 as the field gets set for action here. We'll head out of the final corner onto the front straightaway, and they are lined and ready. Sally Mott has the boys all lined up behind her as she tries to get herself a heat race win. just a couple spots shy yesterday, but a good top 3 result for her. Here we go in the tram lines on the power early this afternoon. We're racing down in turns 1 and 2. Look at that inside lane. They'll nearly get clear on Ching, and they do. He falls back into 4th. Braxton Trigg into the 5th spot as they go through turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, great start from that inside line. Mott making more, or Marky Boland, and Caden Wolf just had a great start. Great pull through there. Exactly what you want.
Here comes Braxton Trigg looking for 4th on Ching. Not going to do it. Here comes Mikey Boland to the lead into turn number 6. Ching's hanging on the outside of Braxton Trigg, trying to keep him back, and the points leader is going to get swarmed. He'll lose his spot. Look at Sally still fighting with Caden Wolf there for 2nd, and we got carnage in the back. That is the 6:13. One of the top drivers, the AR Academy Bureau Art, came across. That's Bryce Frank, who got taken out over at the exit of turn number 7. So from starting inside the first 3 rows for Bryce Frank, now with the DNF here in heat number 2. And what a great start for Drew Chappell, up to the 4th spot as Caden Wolf gets by Sally Mott there in the last corner.
Yeah, Caden Wolf is wasting no time here. Started in P5. He's just making his moves all the way up.
And now Sally Mott crossover move. She's like, Caden, push me. An emphatic tapping of the helmet. They're almost slapping herself silly at the top of the head, trying to make sure that they don't lose touch with Mikey Boland, who leads the field out of turn number 5 aboard the red speed. So it's Boland trailing behind is Mott, then Wolf, then Drew Chappell. Remember, Drew Chappell, he had a good run going early in that first heat race, then a DNF. So he's the one with really nothing to lose in the second heat. He's kind of the wild card. Everybody else just trying to get good points and a good starting spot for the main. Drew Chappell, he needs to win this thing to get himself just inside the first couple rows.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's just in there to cause carnage. He's not really in this for the championship or anything like that. I mean, he's got the speed for sure, and I think he's going to make things quite interesting for everybody else.
Well, there's an interesting move. Drew Chappell gets by Caden Wolf. He gets to 3rd. Braxton Trigg back to 5th. Kelvin Ching continues to fall backwards, unfortunately, as he's back to the 6th spot, leading that next group with Macon Moore and company. There's Trigg with a nice move on Caden Wolf. He'll get to 4th. The 2 leaders starting to break away a little bit as they head down the front straightaway.
Yeah, not looking too good for Drew Chappell in 3rd. I mean, those 2 leaders are going to start hooking up, and then they're going to walk away from everybody. Not what you want to see him being in 3rd place.
Interesting to see what Braxton Trigg will choose to do down the backstretch, if he's going to work with Drew Chappell or if he wants to go by him. He signals, looks for help from Caden Wolf, tries to get some pushing down the backstretch. I think he wants 3rd. Away from Chappell. He's not going to get the help he needs. Chappell hangs on to the spot for now aboard that GWR red speed, and they're side by side behind him. Macon Moore gets by Kelvin Ching. Another spot lost for the TB cart. He's hanging on for dear life right now with that cracked go-kart as they exit turn number 9.
Yeah, I mean, Trigg is not going to stay behind anybody if he's not in front for sure. I mean, he wants to get back up to that win and prove why he's been fast all weekend and why he deserves that championship he got.
Little slide job there on Drew Chappell. He goes by. Chappell walks back behind him, and everybody giving a whole lot of hand signals, a lot of American Sign Language going on through the field to try and say, no, you push me. No, you push me here. Braxton Trigg wins the argument for the moment, and it's all allowed Sally Mott, Mikey Boland to get a nice cap on the pack as they head down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Trigg and Chappell just need to hook it up together, and they need to start working up to get to that back to the front. You know Trigg wants to be there. You know Chappell wants to be there. You know he's got something to prove for himself. So we'll see if they can work together well and catch up to those leaders.
Yeah, for Braxton Trigg, this weekend is just about kind of adding on to the already solid accolade of becoming a Texas Sprint Racing Series champion in 206 senior, headed through turn number 6 this time. Chappell right behind, again, Wolf right there, edge of the top 5. Macon Moore has found some extra pace aboard his Ionic Edge chassis, and he's closing the gap up to Wolf there for 5th.
Yeah, up 3 spots for Macon Moore. Good drive so far. I think he has the speed. I think he's going to be, a little bit of a wild card for this race.
He could get into the mix here. So we're seeing all these drivers lined up 3rd to 6th, little gap back to 7th, not terribly far back to Tyler Stevens aboard that Bureau Art. And up front, the gap from the leaders back was 1.4 seconds last time by. Let's see what it looks like here with the points leader, Braxton Trigg, leading this new group now. They finally settled their differences. They go purple, a 1/10 of a second better. They need a little bit more to get there in time, but that will get helped once they get within about a 6 or 7/10 range of the top 2. So Braxton Trigg is making some headway. If he can keep Drew Chappell behind him, they are closing up to the leaders.
Yeah, great lap from Tyler Stevens. Goes purple that time by. He's moving up in 1 spot so far, and let's see what he can do. He looks like he's got the speed. He's talking to him earlier today. He was sounding super confident about his chances. So, we'll see if that translates onto the track.
So there they go, out of turn number 6, over to turn number 7. Braxton Trigg, Drew Chappell Caden Wolf, third, fourth, fifth, and a really good roll speed through those hairpins for Braxton Trigg. You can see that in the slower parts of the racetrack, he seems to be rolling pretty well. Maybe a little better than Chappell is, but Chappell's got enough speed on the straight there, especially with the gearing at the top end, to kind of push him down the front to the backstretch and close that gap to the top two. Out of the last corner here, Braxton Trigg, Drew Chappell, they'll get hooked up again. The leader's hooked up as well. What does the gap look like across the line? It was 1/10 to the advantage of the leaders last time. It was 2/10 to their advantage this time. Back up to 1.5 seconds now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Trigg is able to get that speed he's going to pull away and hopefully catch those leaders. It doesn't look like he's got it so far.
Yeah, not enough just yet. The leaders are gone, broken away at the moment. Again, we're watching Drew Chappell. He takes a look back there, sees Caden Wolf locked in behind him as they go down to turn number 6. Tyler Stevens is on the move, though. He was purple last time by. They got by Mike and Moore in the process, so Tyler Stevens up to 6th here after a not-so-great qualifying effort down in the 8th position. He's clawing his way up the grid.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Chappell's going to do. I think he's faster than Trigg right now. I mean, maybe he can get past him and Trigg will push him. Maybe switch it around a little bit.
Let's see, coming out of the hairpin here this time, Chappell looking to the inside. Maybe he thinks he's a little bit better than Braxton Trigg, so Trigg lets him go. And now it'll be on Drew Chappell's shoulders to lead the pack forward as they exit the final turn.
Yeah, I mean, I love these LO206 guys. I mean, they work together so well. I mean, this is almost like super speedway racing where everybody's got to find that drafting partner.
And you got to be smart again. You got to, be willing to decide, am I better as a pusher, better as a leader? Braxton Trigg tried leading. They lost some ground. He said, all right, you take a turn. Why don't you see if you can lead us forward a little bit better than I can?
I mean, it looked like Trigg as well had better straightaway speed, so he could help out a little bit more by pushing Chappell along. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out here shortly as the 5-car pack trail at the end there by Macon Moore right behind Tyler Stevens. They've got a little bit of a cushion back to Kelvin Ching, the outside front row pole sitter, hanging on to 7th at the moment ahead of Landon Nelson right now back in 8th as well. Then Kurt Goodson runs in 9th. Jahan Davis rounds the top 10, all a little ways back from this group of 5 as they exit 11.
Yeah, it's just tough luck for Kelvin Ching. I mean, he's had such a promising weekend so far, and to have that little issue that is really unfixable on the grid, it's just tough luck, man.
It's just survival here for him to get through this second heat race and minimize the damage as they go side by side back for 5th. Stevens versus Wolf, no change there. That time they were better, Drew Chappell and Braxton Trigg with this setup, but the leader's even faster. Sally Mott, Mikey Bolin, a 102.77 for Mikey Bolin, the race leader. That was still 2/10, or at least about a 1/10 and a quarter better than Drew Chappell and Braxton Trigg. But at minimum, Trigg and Chappell working together, they're going to break away from the group behind them.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I know that Caden Wolf has got the speed too, but it doesn't look like he's just working out. It doesn't look like he's working to catch guys ahead. It looks like he's now more worried about the people behind.
Yeah, and that was, rightful to be worried about him. Tyler Stevens was pressuring, and now, like you said, he's got to worry about keeping him in tow. Look at this move to the inside into 11. Stevens will go, Macon Moore trying to follow. Little elbow grease there on the exit. Can't fully get by, and Caden Wolf hangs on to the position. Moore drops back in line.
Yeah, no love lost there for between Moore and Wolf. I mean, I know Caden Wolf wants to keep that spot, and he's doing it so well so far.
Hangs on for the moment down the front stretch. Oh, big off there. Right at the back of the screen. I think that was Kelvin Ching going wide out of the final corner. He'll lose a number of spots in the process. So Ching, again, talked about him just trying to hang on for dear life. Big dust cloud coming out of the last turn as Kelvin Ching got knocked off the racetrack.
That's just more product of that bad luck for Ching. I mean, it's hard to drive the chassis as well as you can when it's broken like that.
The good news for him, at least right now, he's got nearly 10 seconds out back to Kurt Goodson. So with Landon Nelson getting by, at least for Kelvin Ching, he's going to just kind of ride by his lonesome in 9th and score that finishing result, which won't be great, but it should, combined with his heat race result yesterday, put him still inside the top 6 or 7 starters. Speaking of top starters, here's Mikey Bolin and Sally Mott, 1st and 3rd on the grid for qualifying, 1st and 2nd in heat number 2, closing in on about 9.5 minutes a lap so far, and they have worked together beautifully all race long.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's exactly Like they did not want that how it worked out last night in that race. I mean, it was a little shaky, a lot of action going on everywhere, a lot of passing, not much working together. But now Mikey Bolin and Sally Mott are able to work together and drive their own race.
Great for us, great for the viewers back home. Not so great, obviously, for the drivers involved, because when you get a pack that big, it really kind of becomes something of a mess, something of a crapshoot, really, where you're just hoping you don't get chunked by someone else getting aggressive and that you don't take yourself out either. Anything can happen when you get 7, 8, 9 guys in a pack.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been so tight all weekend. I mean, there were 8 or 9 guys, like you said, in that pack, and any one of them could come out with this win today.
Out of turn number 9 here for Mikey Bolin and Sally Mott. They'll come to the line to see about maybe 4, maybe 5 laps to go, more or less. It'll be 10 complete. I think we'll see 4 to go at the stripe. Bolin and Mott exit turn number 12, and she'll go right back to work again, pushing on the leader. Drew Chappell and Braxton Trigg, and they've fully broken away from the pack behind them, so they're safe 3rd and 4th. I think they'll just kind of cruise on to the finish. Unfortunately, again, 2 tenths to find, or at least a 10th to Mikey Bolin and Sally Mott's pace. Let's see what it looks like that time by. Again, another 10th or 2 given to the race leaders over Chappell and Braxton Trigg. They're 2.5 seconds back, but they are a 1.5 up on Tyler Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly what Chappell and Trigg would have wanted. I mean, they would have wanted that little bit extra speed. It just looks like Bolin and Mott just have a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, just a bit too much. They go down the backstretch here into turn number 6 for Chappell and for Trigg. Over to turn number 7. Still just working together at this point. This is kind of from the broadcaster standpoint. You really are just counting down the minutes till they start to see that 2 to go signal and fight for the lead and the win, or in this case, it'll be for 3rd between the pairing. And Braxton Trigg making more when they worked together in Amarillo. They didn't even bother passing each other in the heats. They were just happy to get a good points result, good result for them. And for Braxton Trigg here, he knows at this point he's not going to, I don't think he'll end up on the front row, even if he gets into 3rd. I'd have to double check that to be sure, but for him, you know, following behind Drew Chappell, he's just giving Chappell some points that'll still have Chappell starting behind him in the main. So at this point, Braxton Trigg, a 1st and a 4th, it'd probably put him in a tie and either go into the front row or end up in 3rd. Either way, very safe starting spot for the main.
Yeah, I mean, I know Trigg knows that Chappell isn't going to be too much of a competition for the beginning of the race, maybe, but, you know, they got to keep working together, knows it's fast, and maybe it'd make some friends for the final.
Yeah, all right, that's the big thing. Drew Chappell again getting taken out. We haven't seen much of him. And Braxton Trigg obviously hasn't seen anything of him really yet so far this weekend. So he's getting an idea of, all right, this is where this guy's strengths are. This is where his weaknesses are. All going into the notebook, all making some mental notes there for Braxton Trigg to think, okay, this is how I can dissect him for the main event if he's the one that I end up pushing away with and battle for the win. But ultimately, they need more pace, both of them, to do that later on tonight. Hopefully the lights change the settings a little bit, because they've, again, just either been even at best or a 10th to 2 tenths slower than Mikey Bolin and Sally Mott. This time by 2 laps to go. They're just hoping they fight hard, and they're fighting hard behind them. Big dust cloud there back for 4th or 5th and 6th. That group with Tyler Stevens making more, and Caden Wolf had to go through the dirt. He lost a lot of ground coming to the start-finish line straight away, so Wolf lost some time. More just, again, all getting through in 6th, Stevens into 5th. Here's a look at the fight for the lead and the win. A lap and a half to go. Sally Mott, when does she want to pounce? At this point, you've earned the trust of the leader so that he's not blocking. As soon as she goes, he will start. Or if they wait till the white flag, you think probably when the white flag comes out, that's when Tyler or Mikey Bolin will start to low line.
Yeah, I mean, Mott's got to be careful. Oh, there she goes, down to turn 10.
This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Gets him before he starts blocking, but knowing it's at the final stages of the race. Nicely timed move by Sally Mott. She gets the lead, headed into the final couple hairpins. White flag going into the air this time by out of the last turn. Out of 15, onto the front stretch. 1 to go. Sally Mott, the pole sitter, looking for a heat race win. It would potentially put her on the pole for the main event tonight into turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, great weekend so far for Sally Mott. She's been super fast. Great recovery from the Amarillo race. And, yeah, she's looking super good right now. Hopefully, she'll have a good race in the final.
Well, her dad, Robbie Mott, had a great drive through the field in the KA Master first heat race. Sally ended up 3rd. He was up there in the top 5 as well. She's going to set the bar pretty high for him if she could pull this one off, but she's got half a lap to go. Blocks through 6, blocks through 7. So far, so good for the 601 Beryl Art.
Yeah, I know Trigg and Chappell are kind of licking their chops on this one. They're hoping the leaders might catch together and give them an opportunity to maybe even come out with this one in a win.
So there she goes to the inside into 10, over to 11, leaves the door open. Bolin was not close enough to capitalize. So Sally Mott hangs on for now. Final corner coming up here. A car length lead for Mott going into the corner. I think Bolin is too far back. Ultimately, Sally Mott's pace solid here on this final lap. She saved her stuff up, used it at the right point. Here they go. Bolin got a nose down low. It will not be a turn. So Sally Mott gets turned as they make contact coming onto the front straightaway, and Mikey Bolin gets the win.
Oh, she is lucky not to still finish second after that one. That's risky.
Nasty right there. Braxton Trigg and Drew Chappell had to make evasive action to avoid absolutely clobbering the Bureau Art driver of Sally Mott. Again, she ends up second somehow. We'll send it up to the officials to have another look at that one, but that was wild. Obviously, Mikey Bolin got a nose on the inside of her coming out of the last turn. She kind of crowded him down there in that kink, turn 15. He went up on the curb, and then they were banging wheels coming to the line. It ends up with tears for Mott. If I'm, Sally Mott in that place, I think she would have had it still covered if she just drove all the way to the grass and got away from him. But hard to say. Obviously, easy to play armchair quarterback.
Oh, I know. I know that I would have had to change my pants after that one. That's really scary getting turned around on the straightaway, especially when the line switches across the track. It's tough. It's real shiesty.
So that shakes up the order a little bit for the lead. Again, Mikey Bolin gets credited with the unofficial win. Sally Mott second, Braxton Trigg third, Drew Chappell fourth, up 3 spots. Tyler Stevens, Macon Moore, Caden Wolf, Landon Melson, Kelvin Ching, again, hangs on to finish in the 9th spot. A decent day for minimizing damage for Kelvin Ching. Not sure what he'll be up to when we look to the main events later on tonight. But Kelvin Ching will get credited with 9th there. That's a good heat result, all things considered. And then you go back there to Kurt Goodson. He'll round off the top 10. So heat number 2 in the books for Cruise Racing Development, 206 Senior and Sally Mott. Mikey Bolin, well, they gave us a show, and hopefully we get to see more of it here and maybe add some more players into the mix later on tonight for the feature. Next up, it'll be the KA Junior class presented by 4T Concrete Pumping. They're up right after this.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USPKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at MikeDotyRacing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
through the final corner. Here we go, getting set for action. Elio Meza's had the field covered all weekend so far. Does anyone have anything for the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart? The championship contender, of course, came into this weekend with a drop weekend, puts him back in contention. Here comes the start box. Here we go, green flag racing. Great start for Meza. He'll bring the inside line through with the help from Landon Skinner and Santiago Duran as they all file through turns 4 and 5. The 20-plus driver field, so far, so good onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, they have the guys in P2 and P3. They got to take that opportunity to get by Meza. He's been so untouchable so far this weekend, and they got to get to him early.
Yeah, they got to shuffle it back. That's exactly the right mentality, right, Riley? When you got someone you know that's quick, you can't focus on battling amongst yourselves. You got to get by him early, get him behind you, stack the pack up, and hope that everybody else tries to pass him too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. And it's tough for these guys to get beat by the same guy almost every single race. I know firsthand experience. It's pretty disheartening, and it's easy to get caught up with the people behind you as well.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating. Of course, you got a good experience of that. One of the kids that was coming up, a little kid by the name of Alex Stanfield last season, was ripping all year long on the Crosslink Competition X-Spree, and you were pitting next to him and, of course, having to watch him drive away in some of those features.
Oh, yeah, it's tough, man. It's definitely, it hurts your ego. I mean, because it's like, what is this guy doing that I'm not doing? It's tough. It's, but we try to work around it and try to make the best out of it.
Here they go out of turn number 5. Santiago Duran under heavy fire there for the third spot. Diego Guillo, good start for him into second. Side by side for fourth. Reagan Seville under fire from Landon Skinner. Teammates, Skinner gets by into turn number 6.
Oh, yeah, great move right there. You love to see those nice little sends going into that last corner off the top of the straightaway. It's a great passing opportunity.
And, of course, very easy to mix up all those AR Academy OTKs and Burrells in the field. Similar liveries, similar suits, and look at this. Cooper Shipman knocking on the door and gets into the back of Reagan Seville just a little bit going into turn number 11. A thank you very much bump and run for the 814.
Yeah, I mean, last night, Cooper Shipman was just eating through the field. I mean, he was just going super fast, passing everybody, and just did not have enough time to catch up to his teammate.
Well, obviously, the dinner break is not going to come early enough here tonight to keep him from being hungry for more. Cooper Shipman already with a big gap over Seville and hunting towards this pack of the 3 AR Academy drivers. Guillo, Duran, Skinner, second, third, fourth. Down the backstretch, they're trying to work together to catch Elio Meza, but Meza by his lonesome is still pulling away.
I mean, 4/10 that last lap. I don't know if it was because they were fighting amongst themselves, but yeah, I mean, Meza's already laying down those hot laps.
Here they go through the turn 8 complex. They'll head out of 8 over through 9. Cooper Shipman, 2 car lengths back. Duran still pushing on Guillo for now. I'm sure they got some instruction from Mr. Head Coach and team owner Alan Rudolph saying, hey, guys, listen, you can fight when it comes to the end to decide where you want to be, but we've got to fight for the win. And to do that, we need to work together here early in this race and try to hang on to the coattails of Elio Meza, which, again, they're doing everything they can. He's still just that fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've learned for myself. I mean, my old coach, Sean Owens, he would always tell me, I mean, that the race is for the last 2 laps. I mean, that last 2 laps are for the drivers. The rest of the race is for the team. You got to hope for that best result.
Well, let's see if the team gets split up here sooner rather than later, because Cooper Shipman is closing in. And look at that aggressive move from Cooper Shipman. Nice pass on Landon Skinner. He's
oh my goodness.
Corner, 2 corners,
he's in
2 positions. Cooper Shipman up into the top 5.
I'm going to start calling him Jaws, man. He's just eating these kids. It's crazy.
Move him up to 3rd now. He was already in the top 5. He's up 2 spots higher now. He goes to work on Diego Guillo, and again, this could very quickly become an Iron Rock lockout of the front row as he's 2 car lengths away through turn 13.
Yeah, it's tough for the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy guys. I mean, they come in, this is their home track, and getting beat by these 2 guys who, are just by themselves. It's tough.
Here they go over to turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cooper Shipman closing in on Diego Guillo. Eats him up in the S's there. Onto the bumper into 4 and 5. We're going to see that move here probably at the end of this back straightaway. Here he comes. Big slipstream to the bumper. Looking inside for second. Cooper Shipman deep on the brakes. Hits the curb, gets clear into turn 6.
Great move by Shipman. He's ready now. He's going to start pushing up to his teammate. I'm really interested to see if he's going to be able to catch him.
Yeah, so there he goes. Like you said, can he get there? The gap a whole lot smaller than what it was when he got through the field in heat number 1 last night, and a lot more time left on the clock. Last time by, Shipman was purple overall, granted with a little bit of toe, but also with a pass. So he's a 10th better than Elio Meza as of the previous lap. Where does he stack up with the pass this time by? Where is the gap? And can the drivers behind him follow Cooper Shipman up the field? They were on cold tires behind Elio Meza, so maybe that was part of the difference. Now that their tires are up to temperature or close to where they want them to be, can they follow him forward through 4 and 5? At least they'll be able to push him on the backstretch this time if they work together. So Cooper Shipman, the gap to run down Elio Meza, 1.3 seconds. And again, believe it or not, even making that pass in turn 6, he was 5 thousandths better than the race leader.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Guio and the rest of those Burrell car guys, they need to work behind Shipman and then catch off of his toe. I mean, they need to take notes from the races that we've been seeing before and how all those guys work together.
So here they go on through the corner this time. Again, we're watching the field exit turn number 11, head through 12, over to 13, 14, and 15. And as they go over to turn number 13 into the hairpin, Cooper Shipman pulls a kart length away, kind of evens out as they exit through the kink, and will head down the front straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are doing a good job of staying up behind Shipman. Shipman's fast, and they all know that, and they're hanging behind pretty well.
Yeah, they're doing a good job as they go through the field over to turns 4 and 5, down the back straightaway. Here we go, Cooper Shipman. Last time by was about 1/10 of a second slower than Elio Meza. Where does he stack up here this time by? We'll find out in a moment. Again, it's a 1.5 second gap now, so this is with him leading the way. You can see the distance between the lead group, or the leader, and this group of 4. Behind the group of 4, working his way up the order, is Justin Music. Talked about him yesterday. Of course, last night was the Glow Sticks, one of the best-looking go-karts in that Arcane Motorsports X-Spree. He's 6th, running lap times even to the pace of this group of 4, but he's kind of left, the bus left without him, as he's about 1.5 seconds, nearly 2 seconds back.
Yeah, he was showing great speed last night. Yeah, he got up to P2, just a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events for him, and got put off the track and lost those really important spots that he could have had.
On through the S's here. There's single file. Again, they seem to be all over Shipman there, and I don't know if Shipman's just taking a little different line, maybe sacrificing those corners. We talk about that section being kind of a rhythm section a lot this weekend. Again, you want to really narrow up your exit on a 2, 3, 2 and 3, and really even a little bit on a turn number 1 to set up for the next corner, set up for the next corner, set up for turns 4 and 5, because depending on how good or bad you go through the first 2 corners, you pay for it or benefit from it all the way down to turn number 6 at the end of the back straightaway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go through, you come out of 3, and you go either a few inches too narrow or 2 inches too wide, and it's a huge difference going down that straightaway. You lose that really good run, you can get on the exit.
Yeah, ultimately, Cooper Shipman here, he lost another 2/10 last time by, so not a great run in terms of speed compared to Elio Meza. It's been a great run through the field in terms of making up speed, but another 10th added on. Meza continuing to pull away from the field here. Cooper Shipman, a little more separation this time through the S's. Down the backstretch they'll go with a car length cushion back to Guio and Duran, who work together to close back up the 814. So he's not breaking away, but he's not getting a whole lot of help from behind either. They're just kind of being able to ride in the wake and ride behind that hole he's punching in the air.
Yeah, I mean, Shipman's just pushing his own air right now. He doesn't really have anybody to work with him and push him down the straightaway. It's not looking too good on his hopes to catch the leader.
So into turn number 11 for Cooper Shipman. Runs wide, keeps momentum up. Car length out from Diego Guio and company as they go towards turn 13.
Yeah, look at Ivana Richards moving up 3 spots so far. She's having a good race so far. Great recovery from that. Little bit of a not good qualifying for them.
Yeah, she had a good run through the field last night as well. She's about 1 second back from Justin Music. Giving an update on that battle here as it comes. It's down to 0.5 seconds, so Music going to have some company knocking on the rear doorstep here soon. Justin Music in the 852. Ivana Richards on that ACI Mexico OTK. Reagan Seville, again, we saw him up early, then kind of got quickly shuffled backwards. He rides in that 8th position. Preston Pico behind him in 9th. They're loosely tied together. Then about a 3-second gap back to Christian Gardino in the 10th spot.
Yeah, I mean, Beggar Friesland also up 3 spots. He had a little bit of an event last night and spun out and didn't really end up like he wanted to, but it looks like he's made a good recovery so far.
Good exit out of turn 11 there for Cooper Shipman. Keeps the gap at a car length away, even though he's not pulling away from this group. If he can continue to put laps together like he is, they'll be just a little bit too far back to challenge him on the final circuit around as they come down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, even Davis Cunningham up 5 spots so far. Not the best qualifying for him, but he's making a great comeback right now.
Yeah, good run for Davis Cunningham to make up some spots from the back of the field. He'll pick up another one as he gets by Joey Domey. So Davis Cunningham to 13th, 6 spots gained back in P13, while Cooper Shipman still leads this second pack, losing a little bit of time each lap to Elio Meza. Another 2/10 to the margin. It's up to 2 seconds now for Meza in a dominant performance here at SpeedSportz. Maximum points, doing what he needs to do to get himself back into this title fight.
Yeah, it looks like Shipman's just falling off a little bit. I wonder if they went a little high on those tire pressures and just falling off towards the end of this race.
And that would be understandable, right? You go a little bit high, want the cart to come in a little bit earlier when you can use it to get through the field. We'll see maybe a little more pace out of him when he kind of gets onto a level playing field, and probably a similar setup for the main event to Elio Meza. If he can hold on to second here 2 days in a row, again, they'll both be on the front row for the main. It'll be heads-up racing between the pair of them.
I'm sure Iron Rock head Charlie Swain is smiling right now. I mean, both of his drivers doing super well right now.
Yeah, great for business for that silver, black, and red machine as they go down the back. Big run coming, though, for Diego Guillo and Santiago Duran. Will they do anything with it? Not yet. They stay tucked in line. We're coming to the final few stages here. A minute and a quarter to go. They'll get 3 to go at the line, I believe, for Elio Meza and company.
I'm surprised that Guillo hasn't tried to make a move on Shipman yet. He knows that Shipman's not really pulling away, and he doesn't want to have to lose that towards the end of the race. You know, he needs to make a move here soon.
Yeah, again, you just don't know, right? We saw that in that mini Swift heat with Derek Wargo pushing with Gage Bailey. He could hang with him when they were drafting. Then he makes one mistake, can't run him back down. So Diego Guillo, at least he's got Santiago Duran to push him, but if they make a bobble, Shipman gets away. Like you said, I don't know if they get back to him.
Yeah, for sure. And you also don't know what your teammate's going to do either. I mean, we talk about Duran staying behind him, but you never know when he's going to get impatient. He's going to make that move on Guillo.
Yeah, so when does he go? When does Guillo go? Well, again, we imagine this was 3 to go in the 15 laps estimate on the 12 minutes plus 2 laps heat race. They've been getting good runs at the end of the backstretch there. Gets right to the bumper right as they start to break. So you'd think in theory they could maybe mount a charge in turn 6. I don't see anywhere else on the racetrack they could try to get by him.
No, definitely not. I know those Burrell guys, they definitely have the straightaway speed, and it looks like that Cooper Shipman's just eating them up down through the infield.
Yeah, his cart rolling pretty good. You can see a little wider exit out of 11. Gives him that good shot onto the straightaway. Kind of keeps the gap even with a better exit, but them getting the draft stabilizes at a car length. And again, same thing here out of turn number 14. Just runs it wide, keeps the momentum up. Down the front stretch here, another car length back, 2 to go.
Yeah, great move so far. We'll see what it starts to heat up here. I'm expecting Guillo and Duran to make a move down this back straightaway. They definitely have that straight line speed for it.
They are at a really good spot for it now. Hooked up. 1 car length back. Shipman knows that he goes low. Leaves the door open enough, though, and Guillo gets down the inside and gets through.
Ooh.
Shipman crosses him over, gets back on him into 7.
Yeah, a little bit of an overshot there for Guillo. Not what he would have wanted. Maybe a little bit too late or too dirty on the brakes.
Unfortunately, Landon Skinner tried to cross over, couldn't fully get alongside Santiago Duran. Now back to the drawing board. Here goes Duran, wanting that 3rd spot. He gets by, and this will give Cooper Shipman a healthy gap as Landon Skinner goes as well.
Yeah, not the best team game they're playing right now. They know that they can get around Shipman, but they're just letting him go by making all these moves. You know, they have 1 more lap to go, and it's just not going to work out for them now.
You do not have the time to run him back down. 5 car lengths the margin. Duran trying to tuck his head behind the wheel, but he'll more so have to worry about blocking for 3rd down the backstretch. Diego Guillo was their one shot at him, and as they go through 4 and 5, final time down the back straightaway for the battle, what is now becoming the battle for 3rd. Can Landon Skinner mount a charge? To the bumper of Santiago Duran. Duran goes low. Skinner around the high side, deep on the brakes. Hello, outside lane, Landon Skinner to 3rd.
Great move by Skinner. Oh, wow, just hanging around the outside there. You don't really see that too often now.
Great move for Landon Skinner. Headed out of turn number 9 into 11. He's got a little bit of a cushion. Does he leave the door open? He goes middle track. Duran follows, little pushing and shoving, going through the hairpin out of 11. This battle for 3rd will go down to the wire. Meanwhile, the race leader, Elio Meza, out front. He'll collect the heat race victory comfortably for heat number 2. And look at the battle back for 3rd. Look at that. Skinner holds it low, keeps them at bay, and Guillo gets Duran at the line for 4th.
Ooh, so close there between those teammates. What an entertaining race, but I know they could have gotten better. They know it too.
Yeah, good battle for them. Cooper Shipman gets 2nd for the 2nd day in a row in the heat races. It'll be an Iron Rock front row for the main later on tonight. Behind Guillo, Justin Music hangs on over a hard-charging Ivana Richards for 6th, Richards 7th, Reagan Seville 8th, Preston Pico 9th, Beckett Friesen rebounds 4 spots gained after the DNF yesterday. A 10th place result today, put about mid-grid coming into the main event on tonight. So that does it for K.A. Jr. 206 Cadet, presented by Ferris Mowers, is up next here from Houston. Welcome back to Houston here for the SpeedSportz Racing Park, hosting the Texas Sprint Racing Series finale. Ferris Mowers 206 Cadet. Jackson Young, Derek Wargo, the front row. Paxton Dyson on the inside of row number 2 alongside Aston Wyatt. We look for the green. We get it. Good start for Jackson Young, I believe. He'll get through to the lead with help from Aston Wyatt. Derek Wargo drops in line to 3rd on the opening circuit here as they round turn number 5.
Yeah, great clean start so far. I mean, everything's looking nice and good. Looks like a little bit of shuffling towards the back, but looks like everybody's on the way. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, nice and clean start for them as they go on into turn number 6 here. Single file, all the pack is together. Who's going to go for it? Aston Wyatt will. Nice move for the lead there in turn 7. He gets the spot away.
Yeah, it's good. You know, he knows he's fast, and he knows he needs to get up front quick, and maybe he'll find somebody who'll start working with him and pull away.
Will they do that, or will they fight for second? Let's see here. Into turn number 11. The fight's going to be back for 4th. Tyrone Kemper Jr. working the inside, gets that spot on the top 3. And so they'll rocket into the final couple hairpins with a little bit of a breakaway as they battle back in the field.
I think Tyrone Kemper's a little bit of a dark horse in this race. He's shown glimpses of speed all weekend so far, and I think he just needs to put it together, and he'll be good.
As they're 2 by 2 back behind, the top 3 are nose to tail. Aston Wyatt, Jackson Young, Derek Wargo, Tyrone Kemper Jr., then Paxton Dyson, Josie Chambers, Sawyer Chambers, 6 and 7. They were in the middle of that gaggle coming across the line with Thomas Smith and Chris Tracy down the backstretch. Big run coming here for Jackson Young. What does he do with it? Oh, I think he was looking for the lead, and he will take it away into turn number 6, away from Aston Wyatt. As back behind, there's the second group, led by the Chambers as well as Thomas Smith, and new leader Jackson Young back to the point with help from Derek Wargo.
Yeah, that's great for Tyrone and Paxton, and they want the leaders to start battling so they can get back up into that mix. I mean, they're both fast, and they're both capable of doing this. They just got to hang in there till the end.
That pass was good news for Tyrone Kemper Jr. as they all stack up out of turn number 12. He'll get back into the mix. Here comes Paxton Dyson along for the ride as well. It could be 5 drivers up for the front and the lead if they continue to fight like this here. 2 laps complete. And it'll be Jackson Young and Derek Wargo leading the way down the front stretch.
And I think it's how interesting it might be to watch those 5 guys just go bumper to bumper for the rest of the race, but I don't think they're going to do that very much. I think there's going to be a lot of battling still to come.
Let's see, Tyrone Kemper Jr. did not get a good exit of the last turn, but he got a great run through the S's, so he's onto the bumper of Aston Wyatt. They are locked up down the backstretch. Paxton Dyson a little bit further away into turn 6. Wargo will continue to push Jackson Young. They've worked together all weekend. No surprise to see more of that happening here in heat number 2. Aston Wyatt's going to really need to break them up if he wants a shot at the lead again. Because I don't think he can bank on Derek Wargo making a move too early.
No, I mean, Derek Wargo has definitely shown that he is very patient, and he will wait until the right moment to make that pass. But,
oh, there it is. Wyatt gets by on Wargo, so there we go through 12. Aston Wyatt back into second. Does he get his elbows out, go for the lead in the last turn? Not this time.
Yeah, Wyatt, great move from Wyatt. You know, he knows that he does not need to be in that P3 spot. He does not want to lose touch with the leader, and now he's in his draft, and maybe they'll start pushing away even more.
Here they go down the front stretch through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Paxton Dyson. Can't really put my finger on. I don't know if it's gearing or what it is. You just can't get out of that last hairpin and loses so much ground to those 3 leaders.
It's a tight corner, man. It's weird when you go in and you apex just a little early and the exit of it just winds out and it's a little bit tighter than you'd expect it.
Speaking of tight, good move there down the inside for Aston Wyatt. That was a close pass for him on Jackson Young, but he's back to the point once again. So the number 21, Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Bureau Art leads the Kart Republic duo, second and third, as they head out of turn number 9, and they'll rocket into turn number 10 and 11.
Yeah, look at Kemper just watching this all unfold. And he's loving the battling. He's keeping him and Paxton Dyson up in the fight. It just doesn't look like they have as much speed as the leaders, but, if they keep battling like this, it'll definitely play well for them.
Hanging on by a thread for now. Out of the last turn, Aston Wyatt will put another lap in the books for 206 Cadet. He leads the group of 3, nearly a group of 5 towards the front straightaway.
It looks like Derek Wargo is getting left a little bit. Not too good. Maybe he made a mistake coming these last few corners, but it looks like he's losing a little bit of ground. He's back on him now.
Yeah, lost a little bit, gained back up. Big loss there for 4th and 5th with how good the leaders are out of the last hairpin. Tyrone Kemper Jr. taking a look back. Paxton Dyson still pushing him for now, and looks like everyone's settled their differences for the moment. Aston Wyatt, no challenge into turn 6 this time.
Yeah, I feel like definitely everybody's just, I was about to say everybody's settling in, but it doesn't look like so.
Not at all. Derek Wargo making the move there in turn 7. He gets through on Jackson Young, so Derek Wargo goes to the front of the pairing. He'll go to work now on Aston Wyatt as he moves up into second once again.
Yeah, Wargo's still sniffing that draft. Wyatt hasn't pulled away too much yet, so the race is definitely still on.
He's got a big run on him here coming out of turn number 11. Over to 12, 13 now through the left-handed kink to 14 and 15. Aston Wyatt takes him out of the hairpin. Onto the front straightaway. There you can see Kemper Jr. at the back of the shot going a little bit wide, and down the front straightaway, Aston Wyatt continues to lead.
Yeah, great move so far by Jackson Young. He's been making the right choices, and staying up front is exactly where he needs to be, especially with these two guys that have worked so well together throughout the course of the weekend.
Here we go out of turn number 5. Aston Wyatt leads them down the backstretch here. Derek Wargo trailing, looking inside for the lead. Big run for the number 2 machine. Derek Wargo to the point into turn number 6.
A slingshot engaged for Wargo right there. Great draft going on that back straightaway, super long, and gave him a great boost of speed to get past Jackson Young.
So now let's see what the pack looks like with Derek Wargo showing the way. They were pretty stacked up with Wyatt in front, pretty stacked up with Jackson Young leading. A little bit separated into 11 here this time as Derek Wargo leads his first laps of heat number 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're just now seeing Derek Wargo leading the race. I mean, he's been so fast all weekend, and I did not expect to see him hanging behind too much.
Yeah, he's got the pace so far. Great exit out of the final turn. Car length up on Aston Wyatt. Put it in the books. Lap 6 led by Derek Wargo over to turns 1, 2, and 3.
It looks like Paxton Dyson got around Tyrone Kemper that time. So it looks like Paxton's got some speed in him.
Yeah, Paxton Dyson finally deciding he wants to get through. Kemper Jr. falling back a little ways. We'll see if Dyson can get up to the lead pack, as unfortunately the leaders not battling this time won't help him. He needs a little more passing for the top couple spots to get there and make it a 4-driver grouping up at the front of the field. But good exit out of that one for the race leader, Derek Wargo, as he takes him over to turn 8.
Oh, man, I even noticed that Jackson Young was super late on the brakes at the top of the straightaway. He's fighting to stay in that lead pack.
He's got a run on Aston Wyatt. He'll take the momentum, look to the inside.
Ooh.
Little contact on the end of the corner. Can't get the pass quite done.
That was good for Wargo. Wargo was able to put out a little bit of a cushion now while Aston Wyatt and Jackson Young are fighting around, but I don't expect him to pull away too much now.
Yeah, Aston Wyatt wide out of the last turn. Car length apart as they come out of turn 15 down the front straightaway. Derek Wargo, your leader to turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like see what the times pack up. It looks like Paxton's still low 3/4 tenths behind those leaders, so not looking too good for him if he wants to catch up to the front.
Out of turn number 5, Derek Wargo still a car length out here. Single file. 1, 2, 3 down the backstretch. Does Aston Wyatt get a run? He does not. He'll get close, though, into the braking zone as he pulls to the rear bumper into 6.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a little bit of space between them down the straightaway, but I am not going to count out a nice big send going to that last corner. I mean, it's been shown all weekend so far, and I'm not expecting to not see it.
Yeah, top to bottom, right? From Kid Kart to KA Senior, we've seen major sends all over the racetrack, including that final hairpin. Can't forget that wild run through the grass in that Kid Kart heat race as we go on through. Out of the turn 11 complex here, Derek Wargo will go to turns 11, 12, and 13, or 12, 13, 14, and over to turn number 15 with a healthy lead. We go back from the top couple drivers there. Paxton Dyson and Tyrone Kemper Jr. ahead of this group. This is the fight for 6th on the racetrack. Sawyer Chambers, Josie Chambers, Thomas Smith in the Nitro Kart, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah, it looks like the Chambers are moving up spots as well. I mean, you see Sawyer Chambers is up 3 spots so far in this race, and they're driving really well. And this pack's been, chopping it up the whole race so far.
Good run out of the back hairpin. Thomas Smith took a look down the inside. Didn't decide to go for it. Chris Tracy trails him. And into turn number 6, the Chambers brothers will still work together nicely through the hairpin.
Yeah, a great race so far. I mean, these guys are all going to chop it up anyway, and they're going to keep fighting and fighting.
Through turn 8, through turn number 9. They'll make the run to 10 and 11 here. We're closing in on the final couple laps. 9 laps to be completed this time by. It should be about 13 or so by the time the checkered flag drops. This group is about 2 seconds back from Tyrone Kemper Jr. They were a little bit slower last time by than Tyrone Jr., but he's falling just a bit away from the rear bumper of Paxton Dyson. So with Dyson getting a bit of a bigger gap on him, it'll make it more on Tyrone Kemper Jr.'s single car pace. That time by gives up a 1/10 of a second. Chambers, both of them at a 101.9, Tyrone Jr. at a 102 flat.
Yeah, even Tyrone just a little bit, maybe 2.5 tenths or so slower than Paxton Dyson that time. So it looks like Tyrone's losing a little bit of space to maybe catch that P4.
There they go down the back again here, just working together nicely. No real paddling out of the Chambers brothers, and they pulled away a little bit from Thomas Smith, but he closes back up, sends it deep on the brakes into turn number 6. Doesn't really have much of a change there through the switchback hairpins here in 206 Cadet, and they'll round turn number 9.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect the brothers to be fighting like that. It's just family, and they know exactly what they need to do. And, you don't want your brother to beat you either way, but, they'll work together until the end.
Yeah, that could be the case here as they push again, pulling away from Thomas Smith. Little check behind by Josie to make sure the gap is opening up, and it is. Here's a look back up front at the leaders as they cross the line. Couple more laps to go. Derek Wargo still leads. No change up front. Wargo, Aston Wyatt, Jackson Young, 1, 2, 3 through turn number 4.
Yeah, Paxton Dyson is still maybe half a second behind those leaders, and it's just not working out too well for him. He just has to hope that Tyrone has a couple bad laps and slows down just like he is currently, and he'll just have a nice little comfortable finish.
As they go down through 6 here this time, still single file all the way through out of turn number 7 now. We'll wait to see when Aston Wyatt wants to go by. He's waited. Again, it goes back on Aston Wyatt, kind of in the driver's seat here. He's got to be a little bit cautious to not lose too much ground and make Jackson Young a little bit antsy. But Aston Wyatt, he's had multiple opportunities each lap to make the pass on Derek Wargo. He hasn't decided to capitalize on them. He seems like he's comfortable at least split between the pair into turn number 13 and 14. So this time by, we'll get even closer to that 2 to go signal. Just get in under the gun on the timer. Across the line, 11 laps complete. Derek Wargo, still your leader down to turn number 1.
Yeah, I think Jackson Young is in the best spot right now. I mean, he's just be able to sit back and watch this unfold because he knows that Aston Wyatt's not going to just hang behind. He knows that, race is going to come to him, and he's just got to capitalize on any mistake that those two guys might make.
Down the back here this time, going to turn number 6. Wargo still with Wyatt, still with, again, Jackson Young behind the gap. Back out from them to Paxton Dyson's just inched even bigger and bigger lap by lap. While Dyson's gotten clear and pulled away there from Tyrone Kemper Jr., they have also pulled away from Dyson by about 2 to 3 tenths. However, Tyrone Kemper Jr., he's going to come under pressure for that 5th spot. He's been reeled in by Sawyer and Josie Chambers. So Tyrone Kemper Jr. is going to lose some ground, and in fact, it looks like he just got passed by one of them back at turn number 5.
He hung it around the outside. He stayed in there. It looks like Sawyer Chambers might have made a little bit of a half move. Not what you really want to do as a driver, but I think there's still more to come.
Yeah, so more to come for that battle. Here's this battle for the lead. 2 to go. Across the line, Derek Wargo, Aston Wyatt, Jackson Young. When does the blocking start? When does the passing start? It might begin down the back straightaway here with a lap and a half to go. Aston Wyatt starts the stretch right on Wargo's bumper, looks back to see if he's got any help. Not yet. He'll have to be on his own. Now he'll fully be on his own as Jackson Young takes the open door advantage, gets through to second. Wyatt back to third.
Yeah, great move by Young. There he goes. Wyatt going back around. And we saw that switchback move so many times last night, and there it is again.
I think he knows his only chance at the lead and the win is to keep himself in second. If he goes back to third, it'll be up to the two drivers in front of him. The downside is Jackson Young is applying a lot of pressure, forcing him to block there into turn number 11. This gap out front for Derek Wargo now is up to about 5 or 6 car lengths coming to the white flag. Jackson Young looking to the outside, not going to go there.
Yeah, this is definitely tough for Aston Wyatt. You know, you want to be catching that guy in front, but you have that guy behind you just putting so much pressure on you. So now there's double responsibility to not make a mistake and, you know, bang your laps down.
White flag in the air, and Jackson Young was able to get by with a crossover move out of the last turn. So Aston Wyatt back to third. Derek Wargo pretty safe out front. Not too much to worry about for Derek Wargo as he heads down the back straightaway. Jackson Young, on the other hand, completely different story. Big run. Aston Wyatt, not enough here yet. Into 6, he stays in line.
Well, I was waiting for that big send there on this last lap, but I think Aston Wyatt's a little bit smarter than that. He knows he doesn't want to make any hasty decisions.
Yeah, definitely not here, but he knows he can get by him in a number of different places. So what does he do here going to turn number 11? Final time. Peaks to the outside and the kink at 10. Looking to go down the low side into 11. Sends it deep. On the brake. Slides a little bit, but he gets the job done and gets clear for second.
Great move. Great slide job by him. Threw it in super hard. And, yeah, great move by him to get around Jackson Young.
Into the final corner for P2. Jackson Young back on the inside. Runs him wide. Gets clear. No crossover move there. Derek Wargo. Comfortable win in 206 Cadet. Jackson Young holds back Aston Wyatt for second. Big crash in the back of the field. Oh, my goodness. Massive carnage over here at the outside of turn number 11. I believe Tyrone Kemper Jr. might be involved, along with one of the Chambers. That might have been Sawyer Chambers involved. Josie Chambers ends fifth. Kemper Jr. and Sawyer Chambers get back going just in front of a handful of drivers. They'll cross the line 9th and 10th. And we've got Thomas Smith turned over here after the start-finish line as well.
Woo. And what a wild end of the race. I wish we got to see what happened in that wreck, you know, see how the dust cloud happened. But
yeah, man, wrecks all over. So Thomas Smith was coming across the line with Chris Tracy in the upgraded battle for 6th, and I think they must have wheel hopped and sent Thomas Smith into the grass. And as, of course, for Sawyer Chambers and Tyrone Kemper Jr., they drop back to 9th. So we will, man.
That's tough for Chambers. He was driving such a great race so far, and not the way he wanted really wanted to end it.
Hunted down to get into the top 5 there. We'll take a commercial break and come back with more after 206 Cadet. K Master is set to go green.
Has steadily made progress since its inception in October 2021. On top of servicing the Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana areas with products from Compkart Chassis, Tillotson Carts and Engines, Miami, Briggs, Honda, and more, they're now promoting race events as well throughout the Mid and Coastal South region at NOLA Motorsports Park and Finish Line Performance Karting in Biloxi, Mississippi. Races are already set for the fall of 2022. September 3rd, October 22nd, and November 12th at NOLA Motorsports Park, and 2 dates, September 10th and October 15th at Finish Line Performance Karting. Driver Line is set to finish this year strong.
The 2023 season is just around the corner, and if you're looking to buy, sell, connect, or learn, make plans to attend the 37th annual OVK Go-Kart Swap Meet, February 4th, 2023. Register online at ovk.com.
Hannah Greenemeyer.
A Master onto the screen, getting set to go green here. James Lundberg on the front row alongside Morgan LeBaron. An all-Burrell lockout of row number 1. Row number 2 will be Miguel Mir. Alongside him, Vincent Clement. Robbie Mott, Neil Faulkner. Row number 3. Row 4, Shane Burkett, Kyle Walther. The field coming out of the final couple turns, and the KA Masters are ready to go at it here. Group number 7 is green. Down to turn number 1. Great start for the inside grouping. Miguel Mir gets through to second. Robbie Mott through to third.
Yeah, great start for Mir. He had some issues yesterday in that last heat, and hopefully they got him fixed this morning. I was talking to his mechanic through this morning, and he was saying that they changed a whole bunch of stuff in that electrical and engine packaging. So hopefully that works well for him.
Down the back straightaway. Look at this. Everybody on the bottom side. Robbie Mott down around the outside lane.
Oh my
Next
goodness. What a move.
Miguel Mir for second. And they're all stacked up as looking to the outside of Miguel Mir. Might be Vincent Clement aboard that Cruise Racing Development OTK. And contact in the back of the field's got one driver with a big dust cloud out of turn number 7. They'll try and clear out of the grass as the leaders exit. This is over again at turn 7. Here comes Morgan LeBaron, Robbie Mott, Miguel Mir, 1, 2, 3 to turn 13.
Yeah, great start so far for Robbie Mott. I mean, that move was amazing. I mean, going around the outside like that. I mean, just because these guys are old does not mean they still can't race like that. It's awesome to see.
Awesome move by the Wiley veteran here as Robbie Mott closes in a kart length back to turns 1, 2, and 3. Over to turn number 4. Miguel Mir, on the other hand, under heavy fire from his CRD teammate. As Mir, we talked to him last night there, was just scratching their heads. They had issues with the motor in qualifying. He said he was working the needles in the heat race, trying to find a little more speed. Ultimately, it just never really came together. So he's hoping today's a little better. We got big off from Morgan LeBaron. Morgan LeBaron, as we went back to the battle for third, LeBaron goes around out of the lead into turn number 6.
Ah, what a shame for LeBaron. Lundberg. He's been doing so good this weekend. I mean,
or Lundberg.
This is
sorry,
tough luck.
Back.
He had an issue like that in the last heat last night. I wonder what's going on. I wonder if there was any contact or anything like that. It just did not look good for him.
Hard to tell. He was battling with Robbie Mott for the lead. Maybe dropped a tire in the grass as well. So here's LeBaron. Sorry, LeBaron got shuffled back in the field. It's James Lundberg leading the way. Lundberg will drop all the way down after that spin. It's Robbie Mott leading lap number 2. Then you go back to Miguel Mir, then Vincent Clement as they go through 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, let's see if those changes that Miguel made last night are going to work for him. And he's looking pretty good so far. You know, he's going to catch that draft from Robbie Mott and maybe make this a little bit of action.
Yeah, good second lap for Miguel Mir. Can he close the gap up to the privateer OTK or Robbie Mott? Behind him again, there's Clement. There is LeBaron. Then you go back to find 5th, Shane Burkett, Kyle Walther 6th. Neil Faulkner, Dex Nakeen, Scott Cherry up 8 spots to 9th. Great start for Scott Cherry.
Yeah, great move from him. He's been kind of quiet all weekend. I expected him to be just a little bit faster, but 8 spots in his first few laps is a great move for him.
An awesome start here as the field exits turn number 12. They'll rocket over to turns 13 and 14. Morgan LeBaron's got pressure from behind. Shane Burkett's looking a little antsy on him as LeBaron, having gotten back into 4th, hasn't really made a whole lot of headway here as we cross the line to put 3 laps in the books. Let's see the leaders, though. Miguel Mir, a 10th better than Robbie Mott. Vincent Clement, a 10th better than both of them. Vincent Clement goes purple on lap 3.
Yeah, I mean, Vincent Clement's been driving a great race all weekend. He's been so fast, and I don't think people expect him to be fighting for wins like this, and he's been doing a great job.
Yeah, he's looking really, really strong. Here is the group for 4th, 5th, and 6th headed down to turn number 6 into the hairpin. As up front, Miguel Mir's closing up on Robbie Mott, only a car length back, headed through turn number 7.
Ooh, it's going to get spicy between these two guys. Great friends together. I mean, they respect each other, and it's always great to watch these two go wheel to wheel.
Yeah, they've had some good battles through this season, beginning all the way at the season opener at Nova Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana. Out of turn 11 here, Robbie Mott leads the field. Again, his daughter Sally Mott nearly got the win there in the 206 heat race, so ended up second or third or worse. Means he gets outdone by the next generation, so I'm sure he'd love to prove that he's still got it in his age group as they come across the line. Miguel Mir, half a car length back to turn number 1.
Yeah, Miguel's looking super racy. He caught up to him real nice. Now he's going to get that huge draft on the straightaway. Hopefully he can get a good exit out of that nice double right-hand corner.
And another purple lap for Vincent Clement in 3rd. It is going to get really dicey up for the lead. Mir to the bumper of Mott into 6th. Doesn't go this time by. He stays behind him.
Yeah, good move from Miguel. He just needs to make up that gap. He knows that Clement's fast behind him, and he's got to get around Mott and just drive away as best he can.
He can be smart with it here. When will he want to go through to the lead? Miguel Mir, half a car length back from Robbie Mott as they exit turn 9 and head over to 10 and 11. Single file for the top spot. Clement trying to close. Morgan LeBaron seems to have sorted out his opening lap issues. He put together a good lap last time by, a little quicker than Mott as well. So Morgan LeBaron on the drive forward as they head to turn number 14.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting the whole pack to bunch back up again. I don't think that Robbie and Miguel are going to be able to pull out like that. I think Clement and LeBaron are going to be really fast, and I think it's going to be real tough for them.
They'll really have to work at it here. You see Mir just getting to the rear bumper of Mott, kind of got him a little bit out of sorts as he hit him as he was rotating, and it knocked Mir sideways backwards. So one car length back to Mir. Vincent Clement trying to close, lost a little time last time by. Mir closes up in the braking zone, not enough to get there into turn number 6.
Yeah, but real patient race so far for Miguel. You just biding his time, driving his laps, and just applying the pressure to Robbie. Hopefully, maybe Robbie will make a mistake.
Yeah, through turn 7 and 8 and 9. We go over out of 9 over to 10 and 11. Robbie Mott, Miguel Mir, single file into the hairpin for the middle time here. 6 laps to be completed this time by as we approach the halfway marker.
Just a little bobble from Miguel coming out of that last corner. See if that affects him going into here. Just a little bit of space, maybe half a cart length or so right now.
Interesting to see some of the different lines. You can see Robbie Mott popping the right side tires aboard the inside curve there in the last turn. Miguel Mir avoiding that one. Similar lines here for the most part through 1, 2, 3, and over to 4 and 5, but just a little bit of differences. Cool part of the character of SpeedSportz Racing Park, having those curbs that are fast if you want to hit them, but also you can be quick without touching them in certain sectors of the racetrack. As Mir stays glued to the bumper of Robbie Mott. They're making some change, at least keeping Vincent Clement and Morgan LeBaron at bay with Mir pushing him.
Yeah, I mean, Clement just maybe a tenth behind, or a tenth slower than Miguel and Robbie Mott that time. Hopefully he can keep those laps back up. You know, he's been fast all weekend. I'm expecting him to go back up to the front and give him a fight.
Into turn number 11 here this time. Clement goes a little bit wide, so that'll bring Morgan LeBaron a little bit closer. Behind them, Kyle Walther had worked his way up into 5th a few laps prior. He set his best lap of the session last time by, was almost even to the leaders, and a big gaggle here. Neil Faulkner kind of rebounding back to 6th after falling back a few spots on the start. Shane Burkett up as high as 5th. He's down to 7th, 3rd in that line. Headed through 1, 2, and 3. Then it goes back to Dex Nakeen, Scott Cherry, and Doug Foxworth around to the top 10.
Yeah, interesting. Robbie Mott just went purple that time by. Maybe his tires were starting to hit in real well, and he's starting to settle into his groove.
Talked to Robbie on the grid here today. He said, man, it's just been the story of my season. Some poor qualifying efforts. So obviously he bet on himself going a little lower on pressures. We see them battle for 6th or 5th on the racetrack. Good move by Neil Faulkner, but ultimately around the outside for Shane Burkett. He gets back into the top 5 as Kyle Walther drops back to 7th.
Ooh, just a little bit of shuffling there. You know, these guys are all fighting for positions. You know, every position matters, especially up here in the back. And, you know, they want to get the best spot possible because it's hard to get around these guys and stay around them.
Yeah, especially with the toe, right? You can't, when you're all in one big pack, nobody has the slipstream advantages. Down the inside, Doug Foxworth trying to work on Scott Cherry for 9th. Not going to get the spot done out of the last turn. Across the line, 8 laps complete this time.
And not looking too good for LeBaron that time, just a 10th behind Vincent Clement. Clement, you know, running around the same times as the leader, so it's not, you know, he's got to have a little bit of a miracle and maybe drop some lap times a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to find more pace, similar to what he had in the opening couple laps where he was super fast and making up a lot of speed on the field. Out of turn number 6 here, you can see this middle group still going at it at 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, led by Dex Nakeen, who was the big benefactor of the last lap, making up a few spots. And here's your leaders, Robbie Mott, Miguel Mir, just working together and biding their time.
Yeah, a little bit of space grew between them. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from Miguel, maybe a really good lap from Robbie Mott. You know, it's going to be interesting here.
Yeah, that's always a little bit worrying if you're in the case of Miguel Mir, when you see the driver in front start to pull a little gap on you, and then you think, oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I need to get by him and put him behind me, because Mott, again, another good lap. He keeps it even to Miguel Mir. 2/10 between them going through 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, as a driver, you're thinking, you know, maybe I missed my opportunity to pass him. You know, you don't want to let the guy ahead of you pull away. You know, you got to make sure you manage your position and, you know, try to make your move when you can.
Good shot down the backstretch of the leaders as they head down to turn 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he must have listened to you. Miguel Mir trying.
Oh, my goodness.
3rd and 4th are off as well. LeBaron, everybody's wide. Everyone is out, and the big loser, Morgan LeBaron, gets stuck on the outside edge of the racetrack.
Oh, my goodness. What just happened there?
Miguel Mir trying the inside on Robbie Mott. They come together at turn number 6. Mott goes around, and the new leader, Vincent Clement, and give it up to Shane Burkett to 2nd.
Wow, what a move. I thought that Miguel just had that move down. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, he was deep on the brakes. Mott was on the outside there, was kind of front tire to rear tire at the point of contact when they came together in the center of the corner. Great improvement for Neil Faulkner. He gets up to third, Nakeen to fourth, Kyle Walther to fifth. This race's climate has just completely changed. Vincent Clement leads down the back straightaway here with just a couple of laps to go.
Wow, what a great shuffle for the final tonight. This is going to be real interesting to watch these faster guys claw through the field later. And it's great for Vincent Clement. He's had a great couple heats. He just needs to stay on the track and not make any hasty movements.
So now Vincent Clement trying to defend a little bit from Shane Burkett, who's up to second on him. And then you look back here, Neil Faulkner's gotten away because Kyle Walther, Dex Nakeen, Scott Cherry all going at it now and realizing there's even higher spots up for grabs. They were battling outside the top five. Now they're inside the top five with Mott across the line that time in eighth, Meir back in ninth, about a second away from this grouping now.
Oh, I wish I had a view of the scale lines after this race. It's going to be maybe a few choice words being said between those two guys because who knows what just happened. That's wild.
That's unfortunate. Obviously, both of them coming together there in the Turn 6 complex late in heat number 2. Like you said, it'll set up for an interesting main event later on this evening as they exit turn number 6 here. So down the backstretch, Neil Faulkner pulling away just a little bit from that group. Dex Nakeen a little bit away as well. No changes up at the front of the field still, though, but the front of the field's actually getting reeled in by this pack. Vincent Clement, while he was one of the fastest drivers early, is him and Shane Burkett are getting hunted down by Neil Faulkner.
I did not expect that to happen. I expected Vincent Clement to just start walking away now, but Shane Burkett and Neil Faulkner doing a great job staying with him and showing their speed for sure.
Well, there's Robbie Mott getting one more spot back, and it's bad luck for both the Motts. Sally Mott gets turned across the line in 206 Senior for the win. She ends second. Robbie Mott out of the lead as well. Goes around in the spin cycle. He drops back to 8th. Move him up now to 7th as he gets by 1 there at the back of the train. Doug Foxworth falls back to 8th.
Faulkner just a little bit, maybe a half a tenth faster than Vincent Clement and Shane Burkett that time by. And maybe reeling him in just little by little, but hopefully it's enough for him.
Mott's got another big run coming. This time it'll be on the Scott Cherry train. Cherry's up 11 spots. Might go back to 10th. Looking to the inside, trying to get there. Side by side, he clears himself at the exit of 6 and nearly gets in to Kyle Walther there. Kind of tripped him up, but ultimately Robbie Mott, I mean, depending on how this battle for the lead and the win goes, he could get up to 3rd, maybe back to the top spot. What a story that'd be.
Oh, wow. What a comeback for him. That incident just drove him back hella, but, now you're looking at all his comeback and showing his speed here and getting around these guys as fast as he can.
He's trying to close the door on Kyle Walther, and he does. Mott into 5th, coming to the handful of final laps to go. Robbie Mott's charge back to the field isn't over. Miguel Meir at the back of the frame there. He's trying to get back going. I'm sure Meir probably got more damage out of that contact with the front of his go-kart, making contact with the rear of Mott. I think Robbie Mott's probably fine. Miguel Meir, probably a bent tie rod or steering column as they go down the back. Here's Mott looking for 4th. Maybe. Down the inside, deep on the brakes, not close enough.
Ooh. Yeah, I thought he was about to send it right there. It's really interesting. I did not expect him to make such an aggressive move like that. Oh, just got passing around him there.
Yeah, so Mott gets by him for 4th, just behind the leaders here as Vincent Clement is desperately trying to hang on for his first heat race victory of the Texas Sprint Racing Series. Blocks the low line there into the turn 11 hairpin. It backs up Shane Burkett. It backs up Neil Faulkner. And now Robbie Mott up to 4th. This time by, I believe we should be getting the 2 to go signal. So it's all going to be up for grabs. Out of the final turn, down the front straightaway. White flag in the air, my mistake. 1 to go. And it is still Vincent Clement hanging on. Here comes the rest of the pack bearing down on him.
Ooh, I hope something crazy doesn't happen. I wanted this order to stay the same. It's going to jumble up everything for that final. Make such an interesting race.
It would be a very interesting main event here. Robbie Mott with a 4th place result already puts himself, I believe, back on the front row for the main. So he's looking good with everything shaken out. Miguel Meir, of course, this would be the 2nd bad heat race for him. And everybody quick. Getting shuffled back. Lundberg and LeBaron also out, obviously, early on. So the pole sitters, the front row in qualifying will be coming through the field. And into turn number 11. Final time. Clement trying to block low. He holds the spot for now, goes in a bit deep. Crossover move attempted by Shane Burkett. Can't get there. Here they go. Final turn. Faulkner checks Mott back as well. into the hairpin. Faulkner goes to the inside of Burkett. Burkett busts him over. Mott's going to go 3 wide for second on the inside.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's going to get the spot across the line.
Great recovery by Mott right there.
Vincent Clement wins his first TSRS heat race, and Robbie Mott's comeback drive unofficially to second as the black and checkers wave. There definitely will be official intervention on the deal, but Mott to second, Burkett to third, Faulkner fourth, Nakeen fifth, Scott Cherry 11 spots gained from the tail of the grid to 6, Doug Foxworth 7th, Miguel Meyer 8th, James Lundberg from his spin early on rebounds back to 9th, and Kyle Walter rounds the top 10. And oh yeah, K.A. Master.
Spicy.
Wow.
I'm sure Mr. Miguel and Big Mo are not happy campers right now.
Well, that again means we've got still more time for them to think about that one and debrief before the main events, because we've got 2 more coming before the dinner break. It is time for the 206 Juniors presented by Seville Electric. The engines are fired. They'll be coming our way here shortly as they begin to make their way onto the grid. But again, debriefing that one, like you said, big names, or at least fast drivers to the tail in Heat 2. Mir ends in 8th after leading laps. Lundberg 9th. LeBaron a DNF. So he's LeBaron got back going, but way back in the field. He's back in 11th. And again, Robbie Mott, he might be looking, depending if, as long as he's penalty-free, to end up as the pole sitter for the main, with a second result here in Heat 2. So Vincent Clement and Robbie Mott might be the highest point scorers out of the heat races. That could be wild.
A great weekend so far for Vincent Clement. He's been so good and just been in the right place at the right times and putting down those laps that really matter. And great job from him.
Yeah, great job as a whole here. As the field goes through the S's, it turns 1, 2, and 3 for 206 Junior, presented by Seville Electric. They're getting set to go green for their final heat race. And, of course, KA Senior, presented by Exertech, will fill up the grid. We'll give you some updates on the KA Senior class coming into the weekend here, because there's a lot of storylines in that one. Not so much in Seville Electric. Ray and Seville locked the championship up coming into this weekend. He bowed out of the class to focus his efforts on the higher horsepower KA Junior division, which has opened the door for a new winner in the division. And we've seen a lot of good racing out of the class so far. Good passing in the front and through the midfield in 206 Junior. Let's take you to the starting lineup. Sawyer Roussel aboard the Cosmic will start on the inside of row number 1. To his outside, Alfred Alvarez del Castillo in the Kart Racing Solutions Tony Kart. Shelby Ramirez and Jensen Harrell make it a Burrell factory-made go-karts on row number 2 between the Ricardo kart and the Charles Leclerc chassis. Then we have Weston Criddle and Philip Weingart on row number 3, and then that's, I believe, our field going back to Philip Weingart. Philip Weingart there 6th, and Joseph McCrate in the 7th spot out of the final turn. Let's see how they line up here for the last heat race on the afternoon for 206 Junior, and then KA Senior to round us off with a lot of action coming our way in that one. For 206 Junior, here we go. Green flag in the air. We're racing down to turn number 1.
Stays nice and clean. That inside line gets a great run through turn 1.
Oof. Contact.
Oh, no.
I believe that was Shelby Ramirez. Gets turned. She was trying to get clear, and unfortunately she gets stuck in the grass over there at the outside of turn 2.
That's really tough. She got a great start, and it just did not really work out for her. Just wrong place, wrong time.
So now Alfred Alvarez del Castillo trying to make up for lost time. He gets back into 2nd. Jensen Harrell, big loser as well, drops back to the 4th spot. I think that might be Weston Criddle up into 3rd as they exit turn number 8 and 9. Great lead for Sawyer Roussel here on the opening lap. So controversy all over. Everyone end of the season, last heat race of the season, last chance to get yourself a good spot for the night racing. And I don't know, maybe it's the heat or whatever it is here. Lots of chaos in Heat 2 for everybody in the Texas Sprint Racing Series finale.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but definitely I think this heat's getting some people. I know the tempers flare and whenever it gets hot outside, and under this Texas sun, it's getting crazy.
It's been hot here, but you can see the shadows are starting to make their way across the racetrack a little bit more and more. We're seeing the sun slowly start to set. The dinner break again coming up later on, and then main events kick off at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time with the Micro Swift class. They'll run until about midnight Eastern or 9 p.m. Pacific as we're here local time. Central time kicks off at 7:15 following the dinner break after that KA Senior heat race to come that's currently down on the grid. Sawyer Roussel's got company. Alfred Alvarez del Castillo closing up to him there for the lead, and the two drivers have a little breakaway going back to 3rd in the line. Weston Criddle fourth Jensen Harrell, fifth Calvin Cooper, sixth Joseph McCrate, and then Ramirez did get back going. She's way back on the racetrack, though, about 39 seconds back from the leaders for Shelby Ramirez. Just unfortunately going to be having to log some laps here in heat number 2 and pray for some more DNFs or a red flag to bunch her back up to the field.
Yeah, I don't expect really much battling here from these top 2 guys. I mean, they worked pretty well last night, and I think it's going to be a continuation of the same. But I am kind of surprised, though, with Weston Criddle and Jensen Harrell hanging in there in the back. So maybe they can add a little bit to this fight.
Through turns 1, 2, and 3 here as they go through. Let's see Alfred Alvarez del Castillo pushing Sawyer Roussel. Built a little bit of a margin on the field, about a half second back. But he needs to stay hooked up with him on the straightaway like 3rd and 4th are, because this will be a big run for Weston Criddle and Jensen Harrell. If they would have stuck together, Harrell is going to go down the inside or at least try it for 3rd. He gets through, so Jensen Harrell gets up to P3. Criddle to the outside, looking for a crossover move. Doesn't do it, but somehow Jensen Harrell makes that pass really not cost him a lot of time. He's still only 2 car lengths back from Del Castillo.
Yeah, it really didn't look like they lost any space with that passing. So, good job from both of them by not losing any time and making it effective for the both of them. You see them getting tighter now. I mean, even Del Castillo is just losing a little bit of touch with Sawyer Roussel and not what he really wants right now.
Into turn number 13, over to 14 and 15, out of the last corner here this time. And down the front stretch, Sawyer Roussel continues to lead. Alfred Alvarez del Castillo second. Jensen Harrell, big run coming there in 3rd. Huge push from Weston Criddle, and they'll stay single file through 1, 2, 3, and 4. All 4 drivers in the lead pack nose to tail here early in 206 Junior.
Ooh, it is sketchy getting bump drafted through those first 3 turns. You're hitting every curve, and there's somebody on your bumper, and you don't want to get hit in the wrong place and lose a lot of stability. Not fun at all.
Down the backstretch into turn number 6 here. We see Jensen Harrell still on the bumper of Del Castillo going through. Out of 6 over to turn number 7. Sawyer Roussel, the leader, as they exit turn number 9 without yet seeing a challenge. As close as they've been packed up behind him, Alfred Alvarez del Castillo has not been super, impatient. He's been happy to ride in 2nd and push Roussel around.
I mean, I think that's just a common thing between all these 206 classes. Everybody likes to work together, and the draft is just so crucial to, their overall speed in the race. So, it's no surprise really that they're staying behind each other.
And this is the only pack we've got on the racetrack. Joseph McCrate and Calvin Cooper are kind of running by themselves in 5th and 6th. And, of course, Ramirez logging laps by herself in 7th after getting turned on the opening circuit. Hoping, really, again, at this point, the only way for her to really gain any more positions is with a crash in the session as we exit the Turn 5 complex, head down the backstretch. Del Castillo, big run coming from Jensen Harrell. He'll push him all the way up to Sawyer Roussel, and he'll just stay in line down to turn number 6.
I expected Harrell to make a move there. I think he's playing a real patient game, but I think what he's shown before, he's a little bit of aggressive, and he's going to make these moves when he needs to.
Yeah, Alfred Alvarez del Castillo's been patient, but Jensen Harrell's made a few moves to get up to the lead. Now, he, like you said, surprised both of us, really. He's just kind of riding in 3rd at the moment. They are pulling away a little bit from Weston Criddle, but he's hanging on just barely, a couple car lengths away and closing in certain sectors of the racetrack as Del Castillo goes back to work, pushing on Roussel over to the back hairpins.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Weston Criddle is just trying to stay in DRS range there. He's just kind of keep hitting his laps and, keep hitting his marks. And he'll stay with them, and he's got to be there for the end. I think he knows that something's going to happen to these guys, towards the end of this race.
Yeah, he's just got to hang on and hope for a battle for the lead. The sooner it comes for him, the better. As they go through 3 over to 4 and 5. Sawyer Roussel leads down the backstretch. Del Castillo opened up a lot that time in 4 and 5. Little mistake. It backed him up. It backed Jensen Harrell up to the bumper of Weston Criddle. Criddle will push him a little bit and then lose some ground at the end of the straightaway. All separated by a car length into turn 6.
Yeah, look at that draft. It does so much for these 206 guys. That's crazy, even at this track.
Yeah, it's huge. Again, this track, very describing it like Daytona or Talladega for the kid cars. It's very similar for the 206 classes. Only 9 horsepower on these motors, and they're restricted for the 206 juniors with a throttle restrictor, and they'll not let them get to full power. So it really keeps them packed up. And again, like you said, they max out on their own individual speed pretty easily, so the draft just kind of takes over from halfway on the straightaway.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, you expect draft to be so important at places like Newcastle with that super long straightaway, but you see these 206 guys, even at this track, I mean, the straightaway is long, but yeah, I didn't expect the draft to be working as much as it is.
Yeah, it's making a big difference here for them as they go over to 1, 2, and 3. Once again, Sawyer Roussel continues to lead the way 6 laps in to this 12 minutes plus 2 laps heat race here for Seville Electric 206 Junior. Down the backstretch, 1 car length back from Sawyer Roussel to Del Castillo. Everybody staying in line, playing nice. Weston Criddle third, and at the same time, Jensen Harrell gonna go for second, and nearly to the lead as Roussel runs wide. They're 2 by 2 up front.
Ooh, yeah, it was smart from Criddle for backing out of that move. It could have turned real nasty there, and they could have all lost the race.
And now, with Sawyer Roussel blocking for the lead, it opened the door for Criddle. Nice crossover move by Weston. He gets up to third. Del Castillo back to fourth. Harrell's working on Roussel. Roussel opens up for the corner normally there into turn number 11, and as they exit 12, no change there.
Yeah, Roussel seems super comfortable right now. I mean, didn't really defend going into those last couple hairpins, and somebody's off.
Yeah, we got one off. I don't believe that's Shelby Ramirez. It might be Philip Weingart that's gone off in the 412. No, that's Calvin Cooper. Or sorry, Joseph McCrate. That was Calvin Cooper that's gone off out of 6. So Cooper was running by himself last time by. It'll bring him a little closer to Shelby Ramirez, but he did get back going before she got around. Apologies to Philip Weingart. A scratch for this weekend.
Yeah, just not what Calvin Cooper would have wanted. It's tough to have it spin in this race, especially when you want to get a really good starting position for the final.
Good run down the backstretch there. Jensen Harrell now he's biding his time behind Sawyer Roussel. So he got by Del Castillo, decided he wanted to move up one more spot higher in the line. Out of turn number 8, Sawyer Roussel a car length up on Jensen Harrell, headed into turn number 10 and over to 11 again here. We're working lap number 8 right now with still plenty of time left. About a 13-lap heat, more or less, has been the distance for the 206 classes with the way the timestamp works at 12 minutes when the timer runs out, then plus 2 laps. Roussel into the final couple corners. He'll take them on out of the last turn, and Sawyer Roussel, Jensen Harrell, on the bumper across the line, 8 laps down.
I think Jensen Harrell has driven a great race so far. He's just picked all the right moves, and he's been fast, and he's just been there when he needed to be. And it's good to see from him. He's had a great job. He's doing a great job this race.
Through to 4 and 5, exiting turn number 5, headed down the back straightaway here for Sawyer Roussel. A car length out on, again, Jensen Harrell and Weston Criddle, and Alfred Alvarez Del Castillo losing some ground to the leaders. Gave up another 10th that time. He's on the brink of maybe losing the toe with the top 3, so he's got to really get on his horse and close that gap up because Jensen Harrell is staying right on the rear bumper of Sawyer Roussel.
Yeah, I think Alvarez de Castillo, that he was falling off early in the race. And I think that's why Harrell and Weston Criddle were thinking about making that moves earlier on. They knew that he was falling off, and you can see it now.
Out of turn number 11 this time. There they go, coming out of the hairpin. We'll work on the short chute into the final couple corners. 9 laps to be completed. Sawyer Roussel has led them all. He's got Jensen Harrell still on his tail, but not yet making a bid for the lead. Here it comes, though. Down the front stretch, big time slingshot. Around the outside to 1. Roussel runs him wide, but Harrell will have the inside in 2. Still side by side to 3. He has to give it up. And into the marbles he goes. Here comes Weston Criddle around the outside. Criddle gets into second.
Yeah, great job by Criddle for just staying in the gas there and just filing in as best he could. Great job there.
And what a gift for Alfred Alvarez Del Castillo. He gets back into the pack now. Roussel's going to block a little bit into 6. Opens the door up for battling behind as Harrell goes side by side with Criddle. Del Castillo makes him pay. He gets 3rd away.
Let's see what Criddle can do in P2. He's hasn't been there all race, but I think he's been playing the patient game. I think he's ready to attack now.
Through to turn 10, over to turn number 11. Sawyer Roussel still leads. Weston Criddle now highest he's been all weekend in second. Little love tap from behind with Del Castillo, hoping that he can get going, and Del Castillo's back in the mix in the final stages. 10 laps complete this time by.
Yeah, we should see if Jensen or Sawyer Roussel is going to make any, can start defending any at all with his 2 laps to go. We shall see. I mean, it might bring him back together, but I think that he has enough space where he can drive his regular lines and try to drive as fast as he can.
Well, we think that, and look at the run they get through the S's. If they get a good run out of turn number 4 and 5, it'll be a wide open battle at the end of the back straightaway. Great run for Weston Criddle. Sawyer Roussel knows it. Down the backstretch here, 1 car length back, headed towards turn 6. Criddle doesn't have the run enough he needs, and Roussel blocks low. Criddle goes high. Del Castillo on the outside. He gets the business from Jensen Harrell. Harrell can't get through. Del Castillo still fighting for 3rd.
I'm waiting on Criddle to make that move. He's right there. He's just got to get maybe another car length or so, and he'll be able to make that move as soon as he can.
That attempt by Jensen Harrell cost them some valuable time to the top 2. Still trying to work Del Castillo. He goes to the inside in 11 for 3rd. Gets the spot away successfully this time. Jensen Harrell up to P3. Del Castillo back to 4th. And the leaders yet to battle. Weston Criddle in the driver's seat here in second as out of the final turn. Sawyer Roussel leads the way. White flag in the air. 1 to go in 206 Junior.
Oh, he's on him now. I'm ready to see this move. I wonder where it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to try to send it at the top of the straightaway. I think it's going to happen more in this middle section of the track.
Yeah, he'll have to be smart about it. Again, like you said, he doesn't seem like he's got a lot of top speed. So Sawyer Roussel leading on the back, goes low. Criddle will follow. Harrell up top. He's outside the draft, so he's not too worried, but he'll have to block maybe from Castillo as into the turn 6 hairpin. Down to the bottom for Roussel. Side by side back behind as Harrell holds back Castillo for the moment. Roussel still blocking. Criddle trying to over under him. Battle in for lead. Battle in for third. Single file up front. Single file for third. Roussel holds over to 10.
Ooh, it was a little weird for Roussel to be blocking like he was and going into those turns. Killing his speed going into that short shoe in the middle of the track. Not the best decision from him so far, you know, but it looks like it's turning out all right.
He only went 1 lane higher. Didn't go all the way low into 11. Let's see what he does in the last turn. He covers that one off. Criddle trying to cross him up. Big run for Criddle, but they touch. That's going to hurt the momentum of Weston. They're side by side onto the front straightaway. Roussel with the advantage across the line. Sawyer Roussel holds. Weston Criddle second. Jensen Harrell third. Alfred Alvarez del Castillo ends fourth.
Wow, that was a little sketchy there. They made a little bit of contact wheel to wheel. I thought somebody was going to turn around like we saw in that 206 senior race. It was getting a little hairy there.
Definitely got a little bit wild. Joseph McCrate, Calvin Cooper, Shelby Ramirez will cross the line to end 5th, 6th, and 7th. And now we move our focus to the Exertech KA100 senior class. Let's take a look at the championship standings coming into the weekend here. Alex Stanfield led by a healthy margin in the championship prior to drops. When you factor in what he's got going into the weekend, however, he's only ahead by a handful. So let's take a look and we'll put them on the screen for you. So Alex Stanfield on the GWR Tony Kart enters with drops factored in, 865 points total and a 59-point lead over Peyton Phillips. Remember again, folks, 310 points are up for grabs going into the weekend. However, Braden Robertson got the pole position in qualifying, so he took those 10 points off the scoreboard, left only 300 left. Now, Alex Stanfield, up until about 4 corners to go in that opening heat race, was going to surrender a couple points potentially to Peyton Phillips, with Phillips leading. But Phillips and Robertson got together. They crashed out, got back going at the edge of the top 10. Depending how Heat 2 goes, that's where the next 100 points come. It's your heat race total. So Stanfield in a driver's seat in that regard, and of course leads the points coming in. However, depending how Heat 2 works its way out, that could again go back in the way of Peyton Phillips to cut the gap in. And Aiden Rudolph, he got into the top 5 in Heat 1. Home turf advantage for the 79 machine and the AR Academy Bureau Art. An outside shot at the championship, but he needs Stanfield and Phillips to lose some points in the heats to him, not gain, and he needs them to have a bad run in the final, probably finish 10th or worse. Alex Stanfield here at 60 points out in front of Peyton Phillips. He needs to roughly make sure he's 6th or 7th or better to clinch the title here this weekend in Houston. Braden Robertson, though, leads the field. Let's go through your starting lineup and get you back up to speed with where everybody lines up for heat number 2. Again, the 977 Arcane Motorsports CRG will bring the field together over to turn number 11. He starts at the inside of the Barry Racing Red Speed of Vinny Miskelis. Row 2 will have Peyton Phillips, again, in the points fight, second in the championship and the reigning series champion. The number 1 starts at the inside of row 2 alongside Drew Chappell in that GWR Red Speed. You go back, or GWR Gillard, my mistake. Then go back to row number 3, Adrian Cruz in that Cruz Racing Development Tony Kart. Man, was he fast yesterday, got knocked off the racetrack out of the top 5, drove back from 9th up to 5th by the time the checkered flag fell. And to his outside, it'll be Ethan Arndt in that 949 High 5 Performance Tony Kart. So we're all set for, or 949, sorry, Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Bureau Art for Ethan Arndt to put 2 Bureau Art machines up near the front of the field alongside Aiden Rudolph, who starts a little further back. The 979 rolls off back on row number 6. That's your third driver in the title fight. Alex Stanfield splits them. He's on the inside of row number 4. And here we are. We're green for the Exertech KA Senior second heat. Wheel to wheel for the lead. Robertson's going to lose out.
Oh, wow. Great start by Miskelis. I was wondering what he was going to be able to do this weekend. He's had so much good speed. He just hasn't been able to put it together through the... Oh, Robertson's off.
Robertson off at the outside of turn number 5. Big time carnage for Braden Robertson, and that was off the bumper potentially of Peyton Phillips. I think that might have been a little bit of a thank you very much from last night.
Yeah, tough luck again for Robertson. He's just had so much speed this weekend. He's been able to show. He's been looking so good.
We got a lot off over here as well at the exit
What
of
the-
turn 7. One driver cutting across the racetrack to join into the field.
Yeah, that's a little hairy right there. You're not supposed to be doing that. Ruining everybody else's race.
And all the while, Vinny Miskellis is running away with everybody else's lunch money. Big time lead for Miskellis. Drew Chappell into second. Adrian Cruz into third. Where is Peyton Phillips here on this opening lap with how he got tripped up with Robertson in turn 5? He's way down the order. So it's Cruz to third. Then up into fourth on that high five performance, Tony Kart, Tyler Stevens, and Alex Sandfield avoids the carnage again. Picks up 2 spots on the opening circuit. He's into fifth. Look at this battle for second. Chappell's like, come on, guys. We've got a leader way out in front. Cruz not caring. He wants second. He'll take it away.
Yeah, Cruz is not somebody who's going to...
Oh, he gets knocked wide by Stevens, and they both go wide. Tyler Stevens into second.
Oh, this is all going so well for Vinny Miskellis. Vinny is just able to just walk away and just relax a little bit now. He's not with his carnage, and he can just keep driving.
So Alex Stanfield gets ahead of Adrian Cruz now. He takes them into turn 11. Look at this dive bomb move from Ethan Arndt. He nearly cleans everybody out and looks like one of the McDonough brothers gets knocked off the racetrack. Logan McDonough for a wild ride.
Oh, wow, tough move there. I mean, it's so easy to get it pushed off on the outside of that hairpin. It's just tough luck right there.
Man, we thought we had chaos in the early classes. K.A. Senior is just going absolutely crazy right now. Vinny Miskellis, a 1.2 second lead over Tyler Stevens. Then it's Stanfield. Peyton Phillips has got himself back into fourth. Where did he go? Where did he come from?
Yeah, he fell back to ninth that last lap. He just made 5 spots up in that last like maybe 4 corners.
Little bit of a choke there, I think, for Alex Stanfield on the engine, trying to get some more fuel down the back straightaway, get himself a little more speed. Here's this gaggle back. Look, Aiden Rudolph's in the mix. Ethan Arndt just ahead of him. Adrian Cruz is home free, and they're fighting there. There's Drew Chappell. Man, Chappell was second just a lap ago. He's getting the business now from Jake Faulkner. Drops all the way to the edge of the top 10.
Yeah, unfortunate mistake there for Drew Chappell. Just got away from him there.
Yeah, and I don't even know how much of a mistake you could call it besides not blocking on lap 2 because they were going down the inside of him, and then everybody just kind of knocked into Adrian Cruz and ran him both wide.
Yeah, it's just a chain reaction that happens. Everybody just gets freight trained sometimes, and when one person goes to that spot, you can expect 3 or 4 more guys to follow right behind him.
Now here, let's go back to the leaders because this gap is closing in. Aiden Rudolph, great start to get up the order a little bit, but the gap up front is tightening. Vinny Miskellis gave up 0.4 of a second last time by to Tyler Stevens. Another 0.4 to Chuck. Alex Stanfield, who goes to second. Alex Stanfield up to P2. Here comes Phillips on his teammate for third. Can't get by.
Yeah, Chuck was wasting no time trying to get back to the front. He knows he can catch Vinny. He knows he has the speed, so it's really just a matter of time if he can able to get it back up to him.
Peyton Phillips still wanting to get by Tyler Stevens. He knows how quick Alex Stanfield is, so he doesn't want to lose sight of that championship rival in the 906 GWR Tony Kart. Headed to turn 13. Peyton Phillips looking to dive.
Wow.
And he does.
Well, that's a
Stevens
scent.
wide.
Oh, it's going to be sketchy coming around this kink here. These guys have a little bit of past history. I'm interested to see if they're going to be able to work together a little bit.
I think almost everybody in the field has had a run-in with someone over the course of this TSRS season, if not multiple times over with multiple different drivers. It's been just a lot of argy-bargy, hard contact racing through the pack up front. Here's Phillips again on Stanfield for second. Turn 6, got him.
No teamwork there. That's everything everybody expected that one for sure.
I think Stanfield's just going to kind of ride here again. He knows how good of a heat he's got. He doesn't need to fight Phillips for that position. He's got a heat win. Phillips has a 10th place result. All Alex Stanfield has to do at this point is hang in the top 3, top 4, and now there's Phillips' teammate in Tyler Stevens going by him for a third. So even then, a first and a fourth, that's enough still for Alex Stanfield to hold the pole for the main event tonight.
Yeah, great drive so far for Tyler Stevens. I don't think anybody's really expecting him to be putting up the fight like this, but he's showing some really great speed.
He did a good job there, cost Stanfield some time, gave his teammates some breathing room, and Peyton Phillips now gets to hunt down Vinny Miskellis. And here comes Adrian Cruz back into the mix again going back to the back and back to the front. for Cruz for the second day in a row. He's got a run now on Tyler Stevens. Looking inside, P4, Adrian Cruz to the inside in turn 6.
Yeah, I think Cruz isn't that a driver to wait around for anybody. I think he's just ready to get his positions and start eating them up. He's a great driver, and I think he's going to play his cards right for this one.
And welcome to the show, Aiden Rudolph. Man, he was just kind of a poor qualifying effort. He towed everybody around in qualifying. Everyone behind him went 3rd, 5th, 7th to the pole. He went 11th, getting no tow himself. And then in that heat race, he just really couldn't seem to get a whole lot of forward momentum going, but not tonight. Aiden Rudolph to the inside. He'll get up into that 5th position or nearly get the, as Adrian Cruz runs wide, still side by side with Ethan Arndt across the line.
Ooh, it's sketchy through those S's. Looks like they were going side by side. I thought that Cruz and Rudolph were going to clip wheels going through there, but gladly they made it all through safely.
Well, that was tricky. Battle for the lead's coming our way, though. Down the backstretch of turn number 6. For the lead, Aiden Rudolph, you're seeing them battling.
Big send from Phillips.
Peyton Phillips to the lead into turn 6. He gets the spot away from Vinny Muskellis.
Yeah, wasted no time at all. He knows that Stanfield and Rudolph are coming, so he's got to start building that gap away.
So Alex Stanfield now seeing these two up front, trying to hunt them down. Peyton Phillips looking to salvage the best kind of second heat that he can. Vinny Muskellis there in second. We look at them heading out of turn at number 11 this time. They'll go over into 12 and 13. 1, 2, 3. Then the pack behind, led by Aiden Rudolph. Ethan Arndt under fire from Adrian Cruz. Cruz runs him wide. They're going to go 3 wide.
There's Stevens.
Stevens back on the inside of Cruz.
Yeah, great move there for Cruz. Arndt's driving really well right now. He was up a couple spots before, but I think Cruz is putting up a really good fight right now.
Good move there for Adrian Cruz to finally get that spot away and get himself back in the top 5. He's just been getting beaten alive here in this second heat, similar to what we saw in heat 1 for Cruz. What does Ethan Arndt do? Turn 6. He'll push him. Cruz locked up, and he gets the bumper again in the center of the corner. Attacked all over the place here in these heat races.
A little shicey there for Cruz. Got a little sideways. I know that he was not really happy about that one.
Nothing more frustrating than getting a love tap in the middle of the corner, especially when he just kind of knocks you loose but doesn't move you up the lane.
Especially when you're trying to just get on a roll and catch the guys ahead of you. It's not fun when the guy behind you doesn't really want to work with you a little bit.
Ethan Arndt gets by him there in turn 11, so now he goes back into 5th. Cruz goes back on to 6th, and I think at that point they're just tired of fighting. So much fighting there for that group. They've let Aiden Rudolph get way up the road from them. Meanwhile, for the lead, we'll have more battling up front because Alex Stanfield is hunting down Vinny Muskellis and Peyton Phillips. And keep an eye on the back of the grid. John Berry, 20 spots gained to 11 as the leaders head for turn 6.
Yeah, especially Berry did not come in for practice, did not race yesterday. He's just coming in fresh as can be, man, and he's doing a great job so far.
Heck of a drive for one of the Texas veterans here, going to school. Had to spend time over at college just yesterday, and now he's back in the mix again. His sister Brooke Berry's been a mainstay on the series, and problems for Ethan Arndt?
Yep.
Ethan Arndt with an issue there. He got knocked off the racetrack a little bit, so I think Adrian Cruz and as well probably Tyler Stevens got a little bit sick of him, and Arndt goes off again. So Ethan Arndt getting bullied off the racetrack in turn 8 and turn number 11.
Yeah, a little bit of more American Sign Language going there between Arndt and Faulkner. I wouldn't say it might be the most pleasant words exchanged.
So look at this up front here. Aiden Rudolph has the fastest lap time of the race. He has been faster than all 3 of the leaders. Peyton Phillips, after getting by Vinny Muskellis, hasn't exactly broken away. You've got the High Five Performance Tony Kart, the Berry Racing Red Speed of Muskellis, and then that GWR Tony Kart of Alex Stanfield, and the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Beer Alert of Aiden Rudolph. And then again in 5th, Adrian Cruz, about 2.5 seconds away from the leaders here while they exit turn 9.
I'm interested to see what kind of fight that Vinny's able to pull off on Alex. I know that Vinny and Alex are former teammates, and so maybe they'll start to work together and maybe try to catch Peyton, but Peyton's looking real fast right now.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good as they exit out of 11. They'll head to 12, 13, 14 here, the hairpin. Stanfield taking his time, getting up there. Again, he's just got to take care of his stuff right now. He doesn't need to be overly aggressive, but I'm sure he'd like to get a heat race win. That'll be a big boost of confidence going into the night show here later on with the main event.
Great lap from Rudolph.
10:45 local time, and Rudolph, like you said, purple by 3/10 over Peyton Phillips.
He's ready for it, man. He got deprived of this action yesterday, so I think he's excited to be back up at the front now in his home place.
Here comes Stanfield for second, looking on Muskellis. Turn 6, got him. Here comes Aiden Rudolph. He wants 3rd, not able to get it. Muskellis covers it off into 7. Rudolph looking low into 8. Muskellis covers there, and Vinny Miskellis, after a great start getting away to the lead, is under heavy fire here. Rudolph says go forward, and that's the move. You tell someone, and then you send it down the inside. Aiden Rudolph into third.
It's like giving him the Joker card, man.
Yeah, you just kind of sell him a dummy right there, a fake, yes, I'll work with you. Although, to be fair, in Miskellis' case, running, getting passed by Stanfield, he had to know Rudolph was going to go as well. Couldn't do much to back him up because there was no one else behind Rudolph for him to back him into. Aiden Rudolph, though, he's even quicker than Stanfield at this point. I mean, he could make a run at Peyton Phillips. They both could. Last time by, Phillips got away with the pass, but Stanfield at least even, if not a little quicker. Rudolph quicker than both of them, headed to 6. He's going to push Stanfield for the moment through the hairpin.
Yeah, I'm expecting Rudolph and Stanfield to start working. Oh, I spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
Aiden Rudolph, I think, thinks he's a little bit quicker, so he goes through. He also, again, similar spot to Peyton Phillips. Only 4th yesterday. If Aiden Rudolph wants to get onto the front row for the main event tonight, he needs to have a really good run and score maximum points that he can in these heat races. So Aiden Rudolph out of turn number 12 now becomes the new challenger to try and hunt down Peyton Phillips, who is starting to walk away in that high-5 performance Tony Kart.
For sure. I mean, they're running out of time, too. 3 laps to go. I mean, I don't know if this gap's going to be able to close in that amount of time, but we shall see, I guess. Maybe Stanfield and Rudolph will start working together a little bit.
It's a 9/10 advantage for Peyton Phillips. Aiden Rudolph has been wicked fast all session long, so he's hunting him down and has been, but now let's see what he can do in clean air. No draft in front. He's just outside the window back to Phillips. If he gets a good lap this time, he'll get the draft on the next couple laps. So Alex Stanfield just kind of riding there. Something's gone wrong for Vinny Miskellis.
Yeah.
Oh, he's under way fired. Vinny Miskellis, they're 3 wide back to Florida.
Great move by Cruz.
From the leaders here, Miskellis under heavy pressure, and we've got problems for the 948 of Vinny Miskellis. Look at this. Cruz up to 4th. Tyler Stevens is there. Miskellis is all the way behind him. He's lost another spot to J.D. Lamping, who's up 6 positions.
Wow. That's crazy to see Vinny fall off so bad. He was started off the race so well. I wonder what's going on for him.
Speaking of starting off the race so well, how about starting off a race not so well? Braden Robertson was knocked in the dirt from 2nd. He's up to 8th. Great recovery drive for Braden Robertson.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's able to do for this final tonight. I know that Braden's had showed so much speed. He's been so good all weekend, and just things haven't worked out well for him. So I think that he has something to prove in the final, and he's going to put on a good show for us.
Well, 2 laps to go. Here's Cruz and Tyler Stevens. I think they're just kind of cruising at this point, working together. 4th and 5th on the racetrack. This will be a solid result for both of them to put them on the first couple rows for the main event tonight. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, to give you an update of where everybody else is at, Alex Stanfield, Aiden Rudolph, trying to hunt down Peyton Phillips. They're closing a little bit. They just might run out of time. This time by, we'll get the white flag. It'll be 1 lap to go here in the final heat race of the afternoon. Peyton Phillips, the leader. Aiden Rudolph in 2nd. Alex Stanfield in 3rd.
It looks like Rudolph gave a little hand motion to Stanfield just to say, hey, don't do anything stupid, man. I just want to finish where I am.
Out of turn number 5 here, Alex Stanfield following Aiden Rudolph, trying to get to Peyton Phillips. Stanfield's like, don't worry about it. I'm riding. You don't need to block me. Just see if you can get there and mess with him. These are the top 3 in the title fight. Phillips entering the weekend trailing in the point standings. He's trying to minimize damage here because he's going to give up a couple points as Stanfield's in position to lock himself to the pole for the feature. At least it's a good rebound from last night. He's made it past turn 9 on the final lap. And Peyton Phillips on that high-5 performance Tony Kart is able to get some redemption a little bit after getting cleaned out of the lead on the final circuit. He has enough of a gap. He doesn't have to worry. He will win heat number 2, makes up some points, and a heat win for Peyton Phillips and company.
Great drive from Rudolph as well. Great way to recover from that really kind of a little disappointing qualifying session, but I'm glad to see him make bunch of spots to get a good spot.
Side by side across the line there for Adrian Cruz and Tyler Stevens for 4th. Cruz wins that battle. Here's the rest of the field coming on through. And again, talking about the big movers up the order. John Barry again just gets beat by his sister Brooke. She ends 11th. Barry, 19 spots gained from the back of the grid all the way up to 12th. Great drive forward. Dylan Town up 5 to 10th. Jake Faulkner 9th. Ethan Art rounds back to 8th. Braden Robertson, one of the better, really, lot of heart driven drive in him, all the way back to 7th after dropping to the tail end of the field at the end of the 5th corner on the opening lap. Braden Robertson to P7, J.D. Lamping 6th, Stevens again 5th, And then you go down the order, Drew Chappell, after getting knocked sideways, wide, and every which way, ends up 13th. Logan McDonough, Peyton McDonough, 15th and 16th behind Keno Cadena. Vinny Miskelis, whatever went wrong on that go-kart, he ends up down in 19th. Major power issues, it looked like, for the 948 as he falls down the order. So rough run for Miskelis in heat number 2 after leading most of the laps in the first half of the session. Gets caught, and then something goes awry for the Barry Racing Red Speed driver. We go now to a little break in the on-track action at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going live on the exclusive main events here for Kart Chasers coverage of the Texas Sprint Racing Series season finale. So if you want to watch more of the action, join me and Riley Kent here in the booth. Riley, obviously, night racing, so exciting last night. Everything's just cooler under the light.
Oh, it's the best. I mean, sparks fly, tempers flare, the drivers are at their best. It's the most exciting racing for me.
It's going to be awesome, of course, to see it all live here. And if you want to watch it, you need to make sure you're a KC Premium member. Go to youtube.com/kartchaser/join, $9.99 a month. You can be able to watch all the main events live. If you can't, we appreciate you tuning with us on this free telecast. You'll get the replays later next week. But, man, if that didn't hype you up to become a member and watch the main events, I'm not sure what will, because there is nothing we can predict, from kid karts to that Exertech KA100 senior class. We'll take a break off the air. We'll see you guys around the horn with the lights come on here in Houston for the SpeedSportz Racing Park Texas Sprint Racing Series season finale.